Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rokakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching us truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there on four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braga the Yahweh, Braga the Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rokakadash, Brakat up. So, this is an example to us, because remember, the famine of the word is coming in, and, they're using Mark Gale as an example, because you notice on the booking it says, I am IUIC. And I brought this video from the Church of Yahushai, 144. Again, that's why we are trying not to become public spectacles, because when you become public spectacles, well, they're going to throw you in the front, I mean, we know that this famine is coming, and that we know that we're going to be falsely accused here. So let's just go ahead and have a listen. Either way, though, IUIC has been exposed for a lot of things as of late, especially for the fraud and just, man, IUIC is no better than Christianity. It's just Christianity with a twist. That's all it is.
First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash, Shalom, Wa'ahab, Labayaf, Shal, Dawada. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that taught us well. Salutations to the brothers that are pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Boy, so what can I say? I'm going to title this one, Bishop Kanai Goes to Jail. And it's not that I'm really surprised that this has happened, okay? Because you can't go around stealing money from members. You can't go around the flock of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai disguised as a sheep when in actuality you're a wolf in a sheep clothing, and not get sifted out through the spirit, because the scripture says that the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall begin at his house, his sanctuary. Okay? So all the false prophets, or all the crept in unawares, sooner or later it's going to be revealed. And in this case, you've got I don't even know if I should call him a bishop anymore. You've got Kanai, okay, as we know him, Kanai. You've got Kanai over here, who's being exposed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for being a conniving demon. And there's many Kanais out there, okay, they just haven't been revealed yet, because it's not their time. But in due time, all of these wicked ass niggas that have crept in among Israel shall be revealed. Now, why am I making this video? Because prior to Mr. Kanai over there being exposed, I told you brothers and sisters about the IUIC, because I personally went down there to encounter them for myself when they came over here to England. And I was actually having a discourse with Bishop Nathaniel, okay? He's meant to be the top guy in IUIC. So out of curiosity and hearsay from the brethren in Israel, I wanted to, hear both sides of the story, because everyone seemed to have a negative sort of impression about the IUIC. So I wanted to see exactly what it was. And upon meeting them, I must say I was disappointed is not even the word. I mean, the pride, the arrogancy, the nonchalant attitude, it was just ridiculous, man. And the scripture says a bishop should be apt to teach, okay? They didn't even want to discuss the scriptures, because the scriptures that were being discussed was actually cutting them in the spirit. But it shows you they were wicked, man. They don't want to be purged of the leaven that they have amongst their congregation. That's why the Heavenly Father has to spew them out of his mouth. Okay, they don't know if they want to be men of the Lord or they want to be con artists. They're caught in two minds. You see, you can't serve two masters. You're either going to serve Satan or you're going to serve Yahushai. Okay, so you people at the IUIC that follow behind these wicked men, you yourself are wicked as well. And I'm going to show you that, because the Heavenly Father, when he begins to judge the house of IUIC's leaders, okay, when he begins to judge them, the members as well are going to be affected. That's why these videos are being pushed, because a lot of you think that because your leaders are wicked, oh, it doesn't apply to me. You know, nothing ain't going to happen to me. Every man for himself. But one thing you need to realize is that every time a king in Israel got punished, the people suffered also. And in this case, the Most High is going to start judging these camps, because these camps are meant to be the emblem of righteousness. You know, cursing Esau out, calling him the devil, and supposedly waking up the 12 tribes. But then you got people like Bishop Kenai that has a strong following. The Heavenly Father is not just going to take him out, but he's going to take whoever's supporting him as well. Because notice that IUIC haven't even spoken about Bishop Kenai's wickedness. You know, it's kind of like everyone is just trying to keep it silent. Not even to talk about the Sister Joy situation. Okay, which no one is even addressing that issue. It's like everyone has just kept quiet about the situation because, you know, they don't want to offend certain people in the congregation, or they're just trying to keep things sweet. Anyway, let's go to the scriptures now. So I'm going to get Ezekiel chapter 14, because I know I've been bringing out this scripture for the longest time, but the word prophesy or the word prophet means to say before. A prophet says before. Now, I did prophesy concerning the house of IUIC, saying that if they don't repent, okay, this was years back, this was about 2 years ago. I said if they don't repent from the pride and the arrogancy that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is actually gonna pass serious judgment. Okay, and here you've got Serena Williams, man. Okay, which really, that's not the picture I wanted, but yeah, let's stay here. So, and all you women, you Israelite women that are joined onto these heathen men as well, you gonna get it as well, okay? But that's not what we're talking about. That was, the Spirit just brought that out. Because I know a lot of you women are in IUIC. IUIC has a lot of women cheerleaders, because a lot of the people that come on the comment board to battle us, and you women that come on the comment board, you're just marking yourself for death. First of all, you're disrespecting the order that the Heavenly Father set up. Okay? 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every woman is the man. Go and read it for yourself. But anyway, let's get Ezekiel Yahazakal 14:9. Right. Where are we at? So this is Ezekiel chapter 14. Verses 9. Right, let me start reading. Let me read it in all the versions, man. I'm going to get the KJV first. So this is Ezekiel chapter 14 verses 9. And it reads, it says, and if a prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived the prophet. Okay, so like Nathaniel 7 says, we don't know the name of the Lord. That's a capital punishment, because the name of the Lord is everything. Just like the name of a man is everything. His name is everything. That's why people are so adamant about not having... It seems IOSC hasn't made one video about Bishop Carney. That's the Spirit, you see. We're talking about Bishop Carney. Someone just made a comment on YouTube. So it shows you this is the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that is addressing the issue, man. Okay, because we at Church of Yahushai, we don't tolerate stupidity. If any of the camp members was doing what Bishop Carney was doing, he will get grilled, man. Okay, not only will he have to cough up all the money again, but he's going to be put on trial, because we understand we're judges, man. We got to judge righteously, because if we pass some nonchalant judgment, the Most High can jack us up, man. Okay?
So I'm going to let the rest of this play towards the end of it, but you get the general idea, though, that pretty much, the main reason why there's no new members in Great Millstone is because a lot of people are going to be purged out, you know. And so you can see that happening, you know, with the entire camp IUIC has been getting judged. And so, you know, that our camps, man, judgment's going to be coming to our camps as well. So that's why, man, you got to stay on fire for this, because if you're not, you're going to get purged out, and you will be made the example of. Now on to the trade wars, which of course is causing the global financial collapse. And what Esau won't tell you is that the main reason why these businesses are closing is because of the trade wars, which been going on for a while, but really kicked off last year and all the way into this year between Moab and Esau. So let's just take a listen to Jason Unruh.
Now, you know I'm no stranger to criticizing China. This is something that I have done. You know that you as my audience know that I acknowledge it to be a capitalist state, etc. Now, here's something that's very interesting that somebody sent to me. There is an anthem of Chinese internet security. Now, this song is a couple of years old. I think it's from 2014. But this is the first time I've heard it. And there's an English translation of it on YouTube, and the lyrics are a little bit disconcerting. Now, they do have these particular lyrics that are very troubling. Integrity ripples from a clear and pure nation. We are united in the center of the universe. That's a very strange thing for a socialist state to say, that they're the center of the universe. Well, to understand this, we need to go into Chinese cultural history and the mythology that surrounds it. Now, every country's got its mythological origins that were created under feudalism, etc., China being no different. Now, under the Qing and previous dynasties, basically the historical name for China was the Middle Kingdom under the heavens, which is how it was known forever. Basically, it was the center of everything. It was the kingdom underneath heaven. And the belief was that China was the center of the earth, or the center of the world.
You see how Moab is joined unto Esau, this queen of heaven worship?
And that the world was...
That's how the whore made all the nations drink.
The universe. Now, this is not something that's, terribly unique in terms of world history, particularly within the feudal era. I mean, this is a fairly common thing. But the idea, this Middle Kingdom under the heavens, it's a very nationalistic, chauvinistic way of saying the most important people ever, or the heavens' chosen people. Historically, we understand why this would be, but why would it be from a so-called socialist state? What kind of statement is this? Everybody's equal and we're all united under the banner of Marxism, Leninism, but we're the Middle Kingdom and we're the center of the universe and thus the most important. Now, the emperor ruled with the mandate of heaven, being that the emperor ruled the most important part of the world, that was the Middle Kingdom, that was China, and he was ordained by God or the heavens in order to do so. Again, there's no difference between this and the European kings and queens of basically the same era. But they were to rule over the center of the universe, or the part that mattered, the Middle Kingdom / China. Now, this reflects, these lyrics, they reference being the center of the universe and a pure nation, etc. Now, this is very indicative of Han Chinese chauvinism. I mean, let's face it, you're saying that you're a pure nation, you're morally superior, you're the center of the universe, a morally, culturally pure nation, and the most important one under the heavens. As much as this may upset some people to hear it, this is essentially fascist rhetoric. It is, saying that you're somehow the chosen people, like as Israel.
You hear that? Yasha Allah. And that's just it, though. These kingdoms have been allowed to rule under Esau for a long time, but now, pretty much, though, all of them are falling. and they're falling really quick, and pretty much, though, they're leading the charge to destroy the whore of Babylon the Great, which is the main thing to get to. But you see how all these other places have adopted, that Babylonian philosophy, how all the nations did drink of it, So, amid the trade wars, you also got going on here the fact that, you got more whistleblowers coming out, and of course more whistleblowers also getting arrested, thus, a couple days ago, another one got arrested. Forgot her name. If it comes back to me, Slovak, I'll dig it up. But nonetheless, though, this is out there, though, and they're accusing China, Moab, of, they've been accusing Russia, too, of hacking into U.S. elections, what do you call that? Cyber bully or cyber hacking. They've been accusing China of. But nonetheless, though, who spies on its citizens? I believe this is Dabu 7.
Well, if you missed it, there were comments made by Barr as the Democrats are trying to grill him and asking questions. On April 10th, he said that, I think spying did occur. But what comes out of this is not the spying that they kept talking about in terms of Russia and a foreign actor. He has flipped the script, and he's saying that he believes that entities within our own government were spying and doing things and were trying to stifle Trump, not only during the election, but during his first 2 years in office, through everything that you've seen, through all the smear campaigns and the outlets out there that have constantly attached the Russia thing to him over and over and over again. And he's saying that this was a farce and that he is working to get to the bottom of exactly where this all began. And secondly, that there was, as he puts it here, government power was used to spy on American citizens. And says he can't imagine a world where we would not take a serious look at this to make sure that it was all done properly. So he's going in to try to make sure things were done right, and he's admitting that they believe that government agencies within our own government, not a foreign government, our own, were doing things they should not have been doing and also spying on American citizens. Imagine that. But some new information here pertaining to it. Wanted to shed some light on it, make people aware of his statements here. I'll update on this tonight, Underground World News Live, 8 p.m. Eastern on Dabu 77. And also, make sure to join me over here on D Live. It's where I'll be launching exclusive live streams. Like last night, we were live for a few hours over there. And I'll also be dropping videos here in the future as well. And there's going to be a lot of exclusive content over here on D Live. So make sure to sign up and follow me over there as well. This has been Dabu 7. Links in the description box. Peace.
So, anyhow, you know that, though. You know that this government has been caught, as they say, caught red-handed. Yeah, man, pretty much, though, it's crumbling apart, and that's a good thing. And of the good things to come, watch this government crumble apart, well, here's a funny thing, and I got the alert, but like I said, the reason why I didn't get on it right away is had to spend a little bit more money. I finally got another computer, and the speakers weren't working yesterday, so finally got them up and running. But by then, this had already gotten out there. But nonetheless, though, an F-16 crashed into March Air Force Base. So the aircraft of the world supposedly has the superior aircraft of the world is crashing down.
And from the national headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital, hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez. We're going to start with breaking news for you. There is a report that a fully armed F-16 fighter plane has reportedly crashed at March Air Reserve Base, just outside. This is outside of Riverside, California. Let's go ahead and take those pictures, Kevin, full if we possibly can, to show the folks there what we're looking at. See that? That's the building, the top of a warehouse, and apparently this F-16 just fell out of the sky and crashed right through the roof of this building. This is happening in Riverside, California. Photos from the area have consistently shown this that we're looking at now, these huge gaping holes, but apparently it's a little more perilous than that, because we're also being told that officials on the scene are fearing that there might be some kind of secondary explosion. The way they're explaining is that they've requested a hazardous materials response team because they say the plane was also loaded with ordnance and external fuel tanks. We're bringing in now somebody who knows an awful lot about this type of thing. John Jordan, as you know, is a former naval intel officer. He's also a pilot and a lawyer, but by trade he understands a lot about this type of thing, not just from a military standpoint, but also from a pilot standpoint. John, what do you surmise is taking place here? What do you think happened to this pilot?
Well, the facts are still very thin. We do know that it was an F-16. I'm
going to interrupt you for a minute because we just got told we've got a picture of this parachute, which tells you what?
It tells me that the pilot ejected safely. And what we can infer from that is that the accident or the malfunction, whatever it was that caused him to eject, materialized in such, gave him the pilot sufficient time to be able to evaluate the problem and make the decision to eject. So whatever happened, it didn't blow up or anything extraordinary. It happened. It was probably an engine failure, control surface malfunction. Pilot determined that the safest course was to eject.
How typical or atypical is this kind of accident with an F-16 pilot?
They happen. I mean, obviously with a single engine airplane, you know, you can have a bird strike, you can have an engine failure, any number of things that can happen, especially where single engine airplanes are concerned. A pilot really doesn't want to eject, especially over an urban area, because they would rather land it because of the risk to people on the ground. And the ejection process is actually very violent and dangerous for the pilots.
California is a place that has horrible traffic. You live there, you know. I imagine this has made it only worse. They say they're shutting down an entire freeway, and they're very concerned about secondary explosions. Explain that to us.
Well, first of all, these airplanes, obviously, they carry external fuel, which is extra gas cans, extra gas tanks under their wings. Mm-hmm. Additionally, they can also carry what's called ordnance, which is bombs, missiles, or any of the type of things you drop on bad guys at the time of war. Mars Air Force
but
Base
the U.S. is
LA,
the bad guy.
There is the Tonopah test range in Nevada, where a lot of these units actually go and do a lot of their bombing practice and dropping, which is north of, it's near Tonopah, Nevada, north of Las Vegas. So it may have been on a training mission into Tonopah. It's hard to know, but if they're carrying ordnance, they were off to a training area.
Yeah, this is a very difficult situation for someone.
So there you go, man. Just doing their practice drills and crash landing. Well, it wasn't even a landing. Pretty much, as we'll say at the end of this movie, as this is the Most High's movie, once it's done, we'll say you're terminated, fucker. And of course, like everything else, still dealing with the global economic collapse, aka, you know, the food shortages, you know, the famine that's about to come, that we're about to feel, but nobody else has paid attention to it except for we, the elect. Check this one out.
As I stated before, we are facing a food crisis toward the end of this year, toward harvest season, that many people are not seeing coming.
Yeah.
And this is brought on because 2019 so far has been a nightmare for all the agriculture industry inside the United States. These farmers in Nebraska, Iowa, along the Missouri River, along the Mississippi River, in different areas, dealing with levees breaking, waters inundating their farmland. And a lot of this farmland has still been covered in water, meaning that they have not been able to plant this year's crop yet. This is huge. This is big time, guys. I'm warning you. When you have this much farmland that is just blank, there's going to be consequences. And people are just turning a cheek to it, it seems, and not wanting to talk about it. Here's another article talking about not just the crisis itself, but talking about the weather patterns. And that the calendar might have said that it was spring more than a month ago, but there have been signs all around us of mixed weather, as we've seen late winter patterns popping up in certain areas as well. And according to officials and the official data, this was the latest arrival of spring in 38 years of record keeping in parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. Portions of Washington and Oregon also saw the latest spring start on record. And in parts of the plains, in places like South Dakota, Nebraska, and even Oklahoma, a late spring like this year's only happens once every 10 years or more. So many farmlands destroyed. A lot of planting has been delayed. And they continue to talk about this, and the outlook toward the end of this year is not going to be a good one. They're saying only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted. 30%. Just keep that in mind. We're going to leave links below. Make sure to follow me and join me over on Twitter, as well as over here on DLive.
So there you go, man. Bracing for impact. That's what we, the elect, do. While the rest, they're just watching their sports and not too worried about anything. Now, as we move into Ezekiel's prophecy, which, we can see that we're on the very, very beginning of them beginning to attack, getting ready to attack Iran. Moving into the Persian Gulf, sending in 150,000 troops into the Middle East, and the B-52 bombers, doing everything they can to provoke Iran into a war, and all the rhetoric being built up. Well, Last American Vagabond, who has some pretty good information, has a tendency to run on a little bit, but this is like a little snippet out of there, so I'm just going to let it play, because they're still killing tons and tons of people in Yemen, and the reason why is because they, of course, they're trying to take out the protector of the Middle East, which has been Persia. Persia has been protecting these nations from the terrorists, the Muslim Brotherhood, the Al-Qaeda, you name all the terror groups, Takfiri terrorists, which all originate from Saudi Arabia and the United States efforts, along with the Israeli state, these Amalekites. So pretty much Persia's been a protector. Just kind of like Magog is a protector unto all these nations. Well, Persia's also been a protector to all these nations. They've pretty much been the ones keeping peace in the Middle East, while the U.S. whore has been destroying the Middle East.
And of course, to prove to the world that Iran was the real villain, the U.S. coalition chose to conduct massive airstrikes in Yemen under cover of targeting Iran. And in reality, killing, by some estimates, over 60 civilians, many of them women and children. Democracy! These are the people they want you to believe are the heroes, fighting for liberty and freedom and liberating people around the world. But here's what they're really doing. Coming from South Front, new wave of Saudi airstrikes kills and injures 77 civilians, including Russian citizens, in Sana'a. Now, there are numerous photos in all of this. Shocking, horrifying photos of dead children, of all kinds of things that I'm not going to show you. One of them is the one that I thought was the one I thought wouldn't get my channel censored is the one that's on the main image today. I will show you some tweets from Hussein on the ground. But understand that if I showed what really happened, showed you the real photos, I would get censored, just like I did last time when I showed you a photo of a dead child in Syria. They'll censor you. Because, they can't let you show the reality. But of course the mainstream media will happily show a fake dead child if it will progress their agenda. Over and over and over. But warplanes of the U.S. coalition carried out a series of airstrikes on the Yemeni capital of Sana'a early this morning. Now, the U.S. coalition claimed in an official statement that the airstrikes targeted, quote, legitimate military targets, including bases, workshops, and ammo depots of the Houthis. Now, the coalition even implied that the airstrikes were a response to the recent drone attack on the Saudi oil facility, because we know how those are exactly connected. It says, quote, what the Iranian-backed Houthi terrorist militia have done is a major violation of the international humanitarian law, which raised to the level of war crimes, the coalition statement reads. I'm speechless.
See how this is now being demonized?
For this authoritarian monarchy, working with the nation that has left a trail of broken countries in its wake while claiming to be rescuing people, to speak of human rights and international law? My God, it shows just how much these ideas have now been weaponized and are today being used by the worst among us as cover for their crimes. As I've shown this many times, openly quoted Mohammed bin Salman, he wants Yemenis to shiver for generations when they hear Saudi Arabia vows to continue targeting children. But we're just supposed to ignore this kind of thing and trust that what Pompeo says is the truth. Kind of the same way that we're supposed to trust what the U.S. says Israel wants, not what Israel actually says they want. Right? We're supposed to ignore that and say, thank you, Bolton, for what we're supposed to believe. I just can't believe that. How many times you've seen on this show of the dead families, entire families being murdered, food infrastructure being bombed, ambulances carrying the already bombed getting bombed by U.S. coalition targeting. And they have the nerve to stand up and say that what they did raises to the level of war crimes. It's hard to even read this stuff sometimes.
Well, that's just the hypocrisy of the United States, the whore Babylon the Great. And the whole world is fucking sick of it. Well, the continuing the war against Persia, Iran. Well, here's more efforts being made. This is more from Jason Unruh.
By now, basically everybody has heard how the U.S. has sent warships and bombers to Iran. Not in the country, but in proximity to the country because of the recent actions that Iran took. Now, the question here is, what's actually going on in this situation? Now, as someone who watched the speech that the president of Iran gave when this began, I can certainly say I do know. The U.S. unilaterally pulled out of the JCPOA agreement. That'd be the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal. Basically, if Iran didn't build nuclear weapons, it would get sanctions relief and some other benefits. Now, aside from the fact that essentially they didn't really get those benefits, somehow they just didn't find themselves materializing. The U.S. never actually really lived up to its agreement in full. Now, fast forward a couple years. U.S. President Donald Trump decided to pull out of the JCPOA on the pretext that Iran had violated the agreement. Now, all European signatories said, no, Iran is fully in compliance. The International Atomic Energy Agency, who monitors these things and 4 times a year comes into Iran and inspects, has certified that Iran has not violated the deal. Yet, phony evidence was presented by Israel, most famously presented by Benjamin Netanyahu, where he
Benjamin,
showed a
not
bunch
a
of
Jew.
documents which not only the IAEA and the European signatories said were documents that they were already aware of and were years out of date. A lot of it was manufactured as well. However, this did not stop Trump from telling the U.S. public that Iran had violated it, and of course, being that you can basically tell the U.S. public anything, they believed it. Now, essentially the U.S. withdrew from the deal without any real justification for it, without any real reason to. So Iran waited 1 year. Now, on the 1-year anniversary of the United States withdrawing from the deal, the Iranian president, Rouhani, gave a speech denouncing the U.S. actions and said that they were now going to take measures to deal with the actions of the U.S. It works like this. If the U.S. withdraws from the agreement or does not live up to its obligations, Articles 27 and 37 of the Iranian nuclear agreement are things that Iran can do if the U.S. does not live up to its word. So Iran has announced, okay, we waited a year for you to come back and act properly, and the U.S. refused to do so. So what happened is Iran declared its intention to do so, to do those things which they are fully within the agreement allowed to do. Now, I went and did a spot on Press TV when this happened. I watched the speech, and then I went on there and gave my opinion, etc. That video is uploaded here. It should be the last Press TV video that I did before this video. And one of the things I said is Iran is going to take these perfectly legal actions and then be blamed for it. Is that not exactly what we have seen? The United States has essentially slandered Iran by saying that they're violating the agreement, doing things they're not supposed to be doing, when they are fully within the bounds of what the agreement says. The agreement says, if the U.S. does not live up to its end of the agreement, Iran can enact sections 27 and 37, and that's exactly what they've done. But now the U.S. is taking that and claiming that it's Iran violating it. But didn't they already claim that they violated it before? So that's twice now they've claimed that Iran has violated the agreement, and they haven't. But the lie that they have this time has been the justification for sending warships into the area, and for sending bombers near the area. Okay, what's the point of this? Essentially, the sanctions that were placed on Iran, the part of the nuclear agreement was supposed to stop them from building nuclear weapons, as if the U.S. has any right to tell them not to. But Iran did agree to it. I disagree with that decision by Iran. They should have told the nuclear agreement to essentially go to hell and chart their own course, regardless of what the United States wants. But that's me. I'm not the politician in charge of things. So, they went along with it. They played fair. They played nice. They followed the agreement, and this is what they get.
It's kind of like selling on eBay,
Essentially, the United States did not get what it wanted out of the agreement, and that was the destabilization and destruction of Iran. In fact, Iran had continued to grow during the period that the deal was in place. That's not what they wanted. Iran has continued to extend its influence in relationships with Iraq and, more importantly, Syria. So Iran has been spreading more of an anti-U.S. influence inside the Middle East, and this is what the United States cannot stand. So, as a result, the U.S. needs some kind of pretext to ramp up hostilities against the country. Enter the fake claims of violating the agreement. Now, previously the United States threatened that it would take all Iranian oil off the market. Now, aside from basically every expert in the oil industry saying that that's basically impossible, Iran said, if this happens, we will close the Strait of Hormuz to oil shipments. Now, 1/3 of all oil that is transported by sea passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, as this happens, it is necessary for oil tankers to pass within Iranian waters because the Strait of Hormuz is so small. So, it is legally, by international law, legal for Iran to do so. They can close off their international waters to whatever they want. It's full within their legal right to do so. And doing something like that would be extremely devastating for the price of oil. But Iran said, all you have to do is live up to your own agreement and essentially don't block us from selling our oil, which which the U.S. doesn't have any right to do anyway, and everything will be fine. Now, because of that, the United States has sent warships into the area, so that if, the U.S. does push this too far and Iran says, that's it, we're closing the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. warships are going to attack and force other people being able to pass through Iranian territorial waters, which has never been an issue up until now. Iran's never blocked people from getting through. They have never done things that would antagonize within the realm of the Strait of Hormuz. They've always allowed people to pass through and conduct trade without interfering. But this may change. And all of this is being done with the consent of the American people who don't stick up. They don't say anything because it's just the evil Iran, that message that they are fed in the media every single day. So So what have we learned from this? I said, essentially, in the Iran interview, if Iran even acts in retaliation within the limits of the agreement, they'll be demonized for it. And that's exactly what's happened. Even when you have an agreement with the U.S., that agreement means absolutely nothing, because the U.S. will violate it as soon as it's convenient for them. And then when you take rightful actions to try to deal with it, the U.S. claims that you're the aggressor and starts threatening military action. And that's exactly
just
what
like the military target in Riyadh was considered a terrorist act.
So now
but bombing Yemen is not a terrorist act.
Looking at a standoff between Iranian warships and U.S. warships in the Strait of Hormuz, inside of Iranian waters. You know, like that whole everybody's a threat to us, except that somehow the hostilities always take place in the other person's country. That fighting terrorism always seems to involve invading other people rather than, say, securing your own borders, kind of thing. Interesting, isn't it? Why don't we just accept this for what it is? It's the U.S. trying to exert more pressure on Iran now that it has a pretext for doing so. The original claim didn't hold up because the European signatories told the U.S. that they were lying. The International Atomic Energy Agency said that they were lying. But now that the U.S. has this new lie, it's enough to justify it. And the American people will sit back and allow it to happen, because the vast majority of the U.S. public does not care who dies as a result of their system. And they'll lament poverty in their own country, but if that same system enforces that poverty in another country, they don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them. If 40,000 Venezuelans can die in a year, why would they care anything about Iranians? If 22,000 children can die every single day from capitalist-enforced poverty, and yes, the global economy is capitalist, and yes, those children are dying from poverty. It's poverty in that system. It is capitalism killing these children. If they can sleep at night with that,
greedy 1%.
A system that's enforced by the barrel of a gun, and not just by the U.S., but many other countries as well.
All Edomite
countries. Why would they care anything about Iran? So, as the United States is essentially threatening possibly another world war, I doubt another world war would come out because of this, but theoretically it could. So there is the risk of this becoming a world war, even though I don't think that the odds are very good that it would happen.
Oh, it'll happen.
What?
Amalek is drawn.
I mean, I know what to mean by now. X did nothing wrong. Well, Iran literally did not do anything wrong in this case. They played by the rules, and when the U.S. would not play by the rules,
just like selling on eBay,
went by that same agreement, continued to act within the agreement, and they're still getting screwed.
Yep, and that's just it. You sell on eBay, you pay the money to go and ship it, and then PayPal freezes your payments, and yet you're already out that money for that, and then somebody can make a false claim, get a refund, and pretty much swap items, send you back their broken item, and then say that you sold them a broken item. Yep, that's exactly what kind of deal Iran had with the whore Babylon the Great, America, and that's just it, though, is, they're wise to the rise. So, that this war is really going to be fought over the fact that, they probably will cut off that sea area and not allow trade because of the bullshit sanctions, which they're going to provoke them into a full-out war. And the rest of these nations that do benefit from the oil, this is what's going to cause them to hate the whore. They're already hating the whore just for their actions against Iran. See, the only ally the U.S. really has is Amalek, the Israeli state, who's been controlling this thing all along. Oh, well, you got to mention Saudi Arabia as well. Of course, these are all Amalekites. As they don't want you talking about it. Meanwhile, back in Syria, Yep. Idlib province, getting stronger, these terrorist groups. And don't forget, Turkey has protected the terrorist groups, a.k.a. Gomer and all his bands.
جيش مصر تهيج من دال استهداف عصابات الأسد في بلدة الحويز صاروخ كورنيت الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر تدير مجموعة الخنازير الأسد الله أكبر على جبهة الحويز.
Now, does this look like regular people just protesting a government? Because that's what America claimed, that these were peaceful protesters, right? AKA the Free Syrian Army, which is now molded into the Syrian Democratic Forces. And here's all these other terror groups. Now this is the battle for Idlib.
انت على القفل احمد. الله اكبر تمام جاي.
الله اكبر والعزة لله.
الله اكبر.
Switching over to South Front because
the Syrian Arab Army, SAA, and its allies in northwestern Hama eliminated at least 45 militants during the past few days, according to pro-government sources. Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Mahmoud el-Shamalai of Jaish el-Nasser, Captain Ahmed Ismail, and Mohammed Nakhar of the Idlib Free Army, and Mohammed Abdul Karim and Muaid el-Jasser of Jaish el-Isa were among the eliminated militants. Both
Saw the Free Syrian Army
and the Idlib Free
flag.
Army
There it
are part
is.
of the Turkish-backed coalition of militant groups, the National Front for Liberation, NFL, while Jaish el-Isa is known to be a key ally of Hayat Tahrir el-Sham, formerly the Syrian branch of al-Qaeda, in this part of Syria. The SAA is currently developing its advance in the area of Sheikh Sultan. Militants targeted a truck armed with a 23mm gun, a battle tank, an ammo truck, and a pickup truck belonging to the SAA around El Hawaiz with anti-tank guided missiles. Hayat Tahrir el-Sham also claimed via its media wing that its members had shelled a Russian operations room in northwestern Hama with Grad rockets and artillery rounds. Pro-government sources didn't report any such incident. However, local sources said that several rockets landed in the village of El Jarnaya, injuring at least 2 children. In the Homs Desert, pro-government forces responded with a local security operation to the May 15th ISIS attack on SAA positions near the town of El Sawana. According to the ISIS news agency Amaq, 21 SAA soldiers were killed in the incident, but this number was not confirmed by visual evidence. A suicide vehicle-borne improvised explosive device exploded near a security center of the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, in the town of Manbij the afternoon of May 16th. An SDF security officer was killed and 10 civilians were injured in the attack, most likely staged by ISIS.
South Front is a crowd-funded and...
So, anyhow, you know as well as I do that you can't show too much footage from Syria because, of course, they'll, put, they'll give you a strike. So, I'm very, limited to how much I could show that, but nonetheless, though, pretty much, though, you got all these groups fighting, just like Ezekiel said that they would, so why not just pull out the book of Ezekiel? So as we're about to go ahead and pull out that, I just want to say, that it taken me a couple days to build this computer, so hopefully the sound and everything else had come in, and that's the devil for you, though. I had busted my butt working on someone else's computer, and she actually thought that she was going to pay me $25 a month, and to build that computer was about $150, that I had already spent out of my own money. And make a long story short, though, that I had already went to the replacement to rebuild my computer, because the original deal I got from her was pretty messed up. But nonetheless, though, making calls and elections, sure, you really want to make sure that you're grounded in this, and that you're doing the work, and by doing the work, you're going out there, you're prophesying, and you're keeping the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your abilities, and you're still on fire for this, because I'm telling you, a purge is happening. That's why IUIC is getting judged. That's why, there's no new members in Great Millstone, so, in order to, you have to stay grounded, you have to be doing the things, and that is to occupy until Yahushua returns, That way the wind doesn't take you away, because this destroying wind is coming. And I think that more than anything else is why I'd seen that. And then just upon reading the scriptures, there it was, right there in the scriptures, So, the word always backs everything, and that's just it, sticking to the scriptures, as we take a look at these news events that we see everything leading up to, man, just re-edifies what Ezekiel had prophesied. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look into that, Shalom. So we are entering into this area here. We're entering into this area. This is talking about the last final hour as Babylon the Great is being destroyed, and we know that it's Magog, Russia, that's doing it. Well, this is what the Most High is going to declare unto Yahushua to do. And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, talking about Yahushua, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. So, in other words, what's going to happen is it's the Most High drawing them out, through Yahushua, and just we're seeing the drums of it beating up. But most of all, when Yahushua comes against them, it's going to be in that hour when they destroy Babylon the Great. Because Russia and the rest of the world will have seen that Babylon was destroyed, and they'll believe that they have their new world order, but the Most High is about to destroy Russia too. And say, Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. So pretty much all the nations are going to fight in this valley of Yahushua. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So Libya is going to be involved too. Well, who's keeping the peace here? Persia, as well as Magog, is pretty much trying to fight off all these terrorist proxies of the United States. And so, just continuing, and here's Turkey, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prefer for thyself, thou all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guard unto them. Because Russia has many, many allies with them. And after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years. And, well, you can see the Most High is visiting this place. You can see a lot of things are popping off. You just saw that blood red place in an island inside of Persia. Many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. You know, it's talking about Amalek right here, and particularly the bastard dwelling in Ashdod, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Yasha'Allah, which have always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. That shall ascend like a storm, thou shalt be brought like a cloud to cover the land, thou all thy bands and many people with thee. So, you know, this is talking about when Yahushua takes the land back from these bastards dwelling in Ashdod. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time that shall things come into mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. You know, they're thinking of newer ways of invading and how to, conquer lands, you know. And thou shalt say, I will go into the land of all unwalled villages. It's talking about America. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them, dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. So pretty much, though, this is talking about martial law and many things that's about to happen. To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. You know, and that's talking about all those that trade with America. America's going to be brought to a new low. It's already happening. It's being brought to lows that it's never seen. F-16's crashing. You know, this is a great time to be in. You know, for that, I want to say Bracha Yahweh, Bracha Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Brakatham, and now on to the videos that I could not finish, you know, because this brother has a lot to say concerning what's happening with one of the main camps of Yasha'Allah. You know, pretty much IUIC is being judged. And you can best believe, though, that upon this purge, those that ain't on fire for this are going to be taken out.
The Most High can jack us up, man. Okay? So we fear the Lord up here, man. So this is Ezekiel 14 verses 9. And if a prophet be deceived and have spoken a thing, I the Lord Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Barakatah, has deceived that prophet. And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people. So that's what's going to happen to the leaders of the IUIC. Nathaniel 7 is under so much pressure. All you got to do is just, look at his face, man. This guy is really suffering. He's struggling in the spirit. Okay? And so is Bishop Kanai now. That's why he's got them dark circles under his eye, man. The wickedness is exceedingly great. When he opens his mouth to speak, boy, I can't see how people can't see through the bullshit. Anyway, let's carry on. Ezekiel chapter 14 verses 10. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. Okay? And it's not like we didn't even want it. The Most High always gives the benefit of the doubt. The Most High had me take time out of going to a sit down to go all the way down to the Norton Hill Carnival. I met with Bishop Nathaniel. I had a discourse with him, and then he set his henchmen on me. Bishop Kanai was there as well. Okay, just gallivanting around like a headless chicken. And when I finally got to speak to them, they were so proud, and it's like they didn't even believe in the scriptures anymore. Here you are, you're a man of God. You should be ready to discuss any precept that anyone wants to throw at you. That's your job. That's your reasonable service, apt to teach. If you want to give yourself a title of a bishop, that's a good thing, but you have to live up to the name tag, or you will be demoted. Which in this case, they demoted the man, but they gave it back to him again. So it shows you the people in the IUIC are not really righteous judges. Okay, Ezekiel 14 verses 10. And will destroy him from the midst of my people. Because one thing you need to realize is that this nation of Israel doesn't belong to us. It belongs to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Now, if we are in a position of a bishop or a deacon or an apostle or an evangelist, any kind of position you're holding, an officer, a soldier, okay, your job is to serve the nation. The Most High serves us every day, man. He gives us food to eat, air to breathe, okay. He gave us strength to go to work. I mean, the Most High serves, the Most High is the biggest servant. Okay, because he serves everyone. He created an abundance of everything for everyone to have abundance to survive. So if you can't humble down to see that even the Heavenly Father himself is humble, then there's something wrong with you, man. You ain't a man of the Lord. Anyway, let's carry on. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. So all you cheerleaders, oh, you guys are hating on IUIC. Leave IUIC alone. Alright? IUIC hasn't done nothing to you. You just being a hater. Because that's what a lot of yous have been saying, innit? That, yeah, we're just hating on IUIC because we wish we was a big camp like IUIC. First of all, IUIC has a lot of leaven in there. Okay, that's why a lot of the members in England are running away from IUIC and running to ISUPK. Which I don't want to go into that. I'll leave that for another lesson. Okay, a lot of people are running away from the IUIC now because they're seeing how wicked the leadership are. It says, the punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. You see that? That the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and that I may be their God, saith the Lord. So, if the Most High made you a bishop over his people, you should be selfless, man. Okay, you shouldn't be greedy of filthy lucre. I think the scripture even says that in Timothy. It says if you want to be a bishop, you need to have one wife. Okay, that's what it says. Now in that case, if you do have two wives, you're not going off, because there's no law that says you can't have two wives. But the point I'm trying to make is, ideally a bishop is meant to have one wife, because you're meant to focus on doing the work of the Lord. Okay, and one woman is enough trouble in this kingdom. So Paul was basically trying to say, because of the times that we're in right now, in captivity and catching hell, if you want to be an overseer in the church of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you should have only one woman, because, you know, one woman is enough meat on your plate, man. Having two women, you wouldn't be able to manage the church affairs, because you'd be too busy trying to handle business within your family. So there's really certain men that shouldn't really have the title of bishop, because, you know, they're not living up to that standard. Now with that said, Bishop Carney, man, if you happen to see this video or stumble into it, this is the advice that I have for you. Repent, for the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is at hand. I know you've stolen a lot of money. Yeah, I know you got sticky fingers when it comes to them, when it comes to the cookie jar. But you're gonna have to repent, Mr. Carney or Mr. Kanai. Alright? Because the Most High has really put you on the spot now. The whole world is watching us. You see, our enemies want us to fail. But we need to rebuke you openly so others may fear. Because you have some upcoming brethren that think they can just creep into the church and do whatever the hell they want to do, man. So this is 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verses 1. This is a true saying. Why did he say this is a true saying? Because this is the code of conduct if you want to be a bishop. You see, that's how I know Paul was a Jake, man. Why would he say this is a true saying? That's kind of like what they say in Ghana. Asemwe die nukrewo mupa. That's what they say in Chi, innit? Asemwe die nukrewo mupa, meaning this is a true saying. Oh, man, I won't be surprised if Apostle Paul was from Ghana, man. Okay. Okay, so 1 Timothy 3 and 1, it says, this is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, yeah, he desireth a good work. Okay, because for you to want to oversee the flock, man, that's a good deed, man. Because the word bishop just means overseer. Okay, so all you bishops in the camps here, all you overseers in the camps, is a good office, but there's a requirement. Let's carry on. A bishop then must be blameless. Okay, the husband of one wife, so you can focus on the church. Vigilant, sober. And you saw how Bishop Carney was chewing that whatever the hell he was eating in that video when he was talking to Bezalel. And he looked like he was under the influence, okay, from some of the stupid stuff that he was saying. That's millions and millions of dollars. of a good behavior, given to hospitality, which they're not. They were very hostile when I met them. Okay. Apt to teach, which they're not. Not given to wine. When it says not given to wine, don't get, some people might get simple and say, you see, that means you're not supposed to be drinking wine. Wine is actually healthy. What it says not given to wine is you shouldn't be an alcoholic. Because you got certain jakes, they'll have 2 bottles a day, man. I used to do that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I used to drink a lot of wine. Okay? But now I've realized I can't do that. A glass a day is enough. Okay? For you guys that do 2 bottles a day, you're going off. That's given to wine, meaning the wine has taken over your life. Okay, not given to wine. I'm in verse 3 now. For those of you that are following, 1 Timothy 3:3. It says, not given to wine, no striker. This guy went and vandalized Kashalakia's apartment. Vandalism is a trespass in Esau society. And I'm sure there's precepts in the scripture, okay, that talk about restoring a man's goods. If a man's goods come to you and it gets destroyed, you need to restore him back his goods, man. And put interest on that as well. Okay? Right, where am I? Okay, verse 3. No striker, not greedy or filthy lucre. Now you had this man talking about that's millions and millions of dollars, man. We gotta make this money, man. You know, we gotta get a lot of people to join IURC. You understand? Because we gotta make this money, man. We gotta get paid out here so we could drive some fancy cars and, you know, wear the purple garments and have the golden girdles, and, you know, we gotta build the kingdom, man. We gotta wake up the Israelites, man. You know, we gotta have extravagant weddings and settings, and, you know, just go on cruise liners and, you know, start up businesses and build the nation up. So when Yahushua comes back, we'll be comfortable. Man, you guys have got this thing all miscombobulated, man. First of all, Yahushua, when he comes back here, we're going to be in dire straits. Okay? We're going to be literally... that. Why do you think he said, he that endureth to the end shall be saved? Because he's basically saying, when he comes back here, we're going to literally be on the verge of death, man. We're going to be on the cliff edge. Now, you got these niggas here that are selling Israel a dream about, you know, it says, be ye as pilgrims upon the earth. Why are you going to try and build anything in this society when you're meant to be in a mind state of being a pilgrim? That's why it told you, hey, same Timothy. Let me finish this one and run to Timothy, because I think a lot of people don't understand what being an Israelite in this day and time is really about. Okay? It's because you follow niggas like this. Okay? No good niggas. Right, let's carry on. It says, not greedy or filthy lucre. Now, all of these things that I've read, which is characteristics that a bishop shouldn't have, he had. So clearly he's not a bishop, is he? Not guilty, greedy or filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, which he was very covetous. Okay, one that ruleth well his own house. And apparently his son was seeing a sister who he later left in the cold, who became suicidal. So clearly this guy has no rule over his house. Having his children in subjection. I can't say that for him. With all gravity. So clearly this man has failed the office of a bishop. Okay, so from today onwards, we're going to refer to him as Nigger Khani. We're not going to call him Bishop Khani anymore, because the word bishop means overseer, and he hasn't ticked any of the boxes. And being one of the judges of Yashala, okay, I am in the position to make this judgment that Kanai is not a bishop, because we've all seen it for ourselves that this man has not lived up to the billing. And you're still going to have some stupid people that are going to come on the comment board and try and defend him, which is okay. You're just marking yourself for judgment. All right. But at the same time, we need to speak about people like this, because the scripture says, rebuke before all that others may fear. Because you have men like this that are running loose. Because hey, he's one of the few guys that got caught. There's other people in the camps as well that have the same mentality and attitude as Bishop Kanai. They just haven't been exposed yet. Alright, I know a couple of people that are all about that paper. Yeah, and most of the time they end up falling out. So this is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verses 8. Now all of you need to highlight this in your Bibles. If you can't accept this, then you might as well just quit, man. Don't embark on the journey and not be able to finish. Just go in the world and have fun. You know, like that nigga said a couple years back, man. He said, look, I'm an Israelite, man. Whether I'm righteous or wicked, I'm still going to be in the kingdom anyway. That's how wicked Jake is. And really, he kept it real, man. Okay? Because, I mean, if you're going to be a nigga, just be a nigga. Don't try and mix sugar with sand. It's either going to be sugar on one side and sand on the other. You got some people that try and bring the niggerism into the Hebrew Israelite movement. The Most High is going to get all of you niggas that do that shit. Okay? Excuse my language. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verses 8. It says, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. 1 Timothy 6 and 8, you know. Whew. Let me read that again. And having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. It means basic necessities. That's what you should focus on. Food, raiment, a place, shelter. That's it. Okay? If the Most High gives you more than that, help the brothers out. Because then if you have more than enough, what's going to happen is that's when you're going to become wicked, because money is the root of all evil. The more money you have, the more possibilities you have of doing wickedness, because the world is full of wickedness. So if you have more money in your pocket, that's just going to give you more options to explore the wickedness of the world. Okay, verses 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. Sometimes you might not even be wicked, you know, but it's the money that turns you wicked. Okay. And into many foolish and hurtful lusts. And that's what he was talking about. Which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of Yahweh, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Because having money doesn't make you meek. It makes you look haughty. Okay, that's why it says the kingdom is for the meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. Because they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing to boast about. But you got these guys in the IUIC. Oh, we don't want to join no bummy ass camps. We don't want to join no niggas wearing e-pods. Even though John the Baptist had camel's hair. Okay. And he ate locusts and wild honey. You got these niggas here that think they're better than John the Baptist. They want to be walking around with the purple garments looking all flashy and that. But that's not what it's about, okay? The Most High's got your cards, mate. And he's going to come and get you. Which really, he's got Kanai now, just to show the rest of yous who are still caught in two minds about repenting, what to do next. Because, hey, Sister Joy, man, they're not even talking about Sister Joy Morgan. It's like they just shoved her under the rug. The sister's been missing. They still haven't sent out any statement concerning. They said they were looking for her, but really that was just for show. You know, doing a little 10-minute video about you're looking for the sister, going from shop to shop. You see, I actually think we're stupid, you know. Oh, the Most High, man, he's got your number, man. Anyway, this is Proverbs 30 and Khan. Yeah, this is a beautiful scripture. The water Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Proverbs chapter 30 verses 8. Remove from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. lest I be full. And look at Bishop Kanai, man. Have you seen how big his stomach is, man? So clearly this guy's getting way too much food, bro. He's eating way more than he should be eating. Okay? All you obese ass niggas in this truth, man, you need to exercise yourself and change your diet up. A man of the Lord shouldn't be obese, man. Okay? The only time you find obesity in the Bible is in Judges 3. I think 17. Eglon, king of Moab, was a very fat man. Okay? That's where you get that Yokozuna thing from. A man of Israel should be in shape, man. Yahushua wasn't walking around. The disciples weren't walking around with pot bellies, man. You got these. It's because these niggas ain't right, man. They're no good niggas. That's why they run around with pot bellies. Always watch them niggas with pot bellies, man. Okay. Proverbs 30 and verses 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee. That's that money. And say, who is the Lord Yahweh? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of Yahweh in vain. Alright, so this guy had more than enough, but he was still a thief. Because apparently he embezzled over 100,000. But anyways, the truth is out there now. Open rebuke. Let me end it off with this one, man. You brothers already know this precept, but for the new Akim learning, because you'd be surprised, people are waking up every day, man. All right, this is Proverbs 27 and 5. It says open rebuke is better than secret love. So don't watch this video and say, oh, you're putting him out there like that. You saw what happened to Yeshaya ben Yasharallah. When Yeshaya did what he did, he got openly rebuked, and him being the man that he is, he took it in his stride and he repented. And he's going to come back stronger. Okay, but in this case, IUIC are keeping quiet about this, man. So we're going to bring the hammer down because we are the judges, mate. So if one of the judges ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing, right, he's going to be put on the spot, mate, yeah? And he's going to be made accountable for what he's being persecuted for. Alright, and with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rachakodash, Shalom wa ahab la bayaf shal dawada. Shalom wa ahab la bachaya shal yash'ala. Shalom wa ahab la bayaf shal gabarium. Which simply means peace and love to the house of Israel. Peace and love to the elect to the nation of Israel. Peace and love to the house of warriors, man. Because that's what we are. The bayaf dawada. Double honors to the elders that taught us well. And salutations to the brothers that are pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa ahab.
All right, I'd like to start off by saying Barakat Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. All right, welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Esau's Financial System and Death Cult. Salakia. All right, and this is going to be the lesson for today, Esau's Financial System and Death Cult. And pretty much I got the idea from the brother Mayaka Allah out there in LA, the GMS Behold Come Quickly. And it was something a lesson he was doing based off of an interview that Jeff Rentz had with another individual, you know, and I believe it was Jeff Rentz that mentioned the death cult of these international bankers, you know, and I kind of wanted to go into some of the financial points of them and this death cult. But before I do that, I want to go briefly into a video the Elder Apostle Gabar just did concerning stern warning to the Brotherhood of Great Millstone. Just teach the scriptures, and I just wanted to just add my 2 cents in it real quick. And pretty much our forte is the Bible, is the scriptures. All that information that we go into is good, but always have to revert back to the scriptures, because the scriptures is the main key thing, you know, because we're not here to We're not here to give you, all different types of information from all different places, with no scriptural backing. Whatever we go into, whatever information we go into, it's because it ties into the scriptures. If it didn't tie into the scriptures, we wouldn't even deal with it, unless we just mention it in passing, just something that we mention about a certain particular thing, but as far as going into lessons and dealing with situations and bringing out information, if it doesn't have nothing to do with the scriptures, we don't mess with it. And this is the deal. We have to teach the scriptures, and that's the bottom line. And I just got one precept for that. It's 1 Peter 4:10. As every man has received a gift, because his knowledge is a gift, even so minister the same one to another. So we're supposed to minister this truth one to another, because we are becoming leaders. We are leaders. We're becoming better leaders, and we're also teaching out there those that are learning to be leaders and to become leaders, and to teach how to conduct themselves as leaders, and how to teach others to be leaders also. It says, as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High, because we are stewards of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We're not stewards of the New World Order, or we're not stewards of the Byzantine Empire, or we're not stewards of the Renaissance period, or we're not stewards of different histories. Although we do use some of those histories concerning things that are written in the scriptures, to give the sense and the edification of what those particular scriptures mean. But as far as being scholars in those fields, we're not. We're into the Bible, into the scriptures. It says, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. So the thing that we're supposed to be teaching are the oracles or the words of the Most High. As the apostle mentioned in the scripture, precept upon precept, line upon line. And why do we speak according to the oracles of the Most High? So that we may be justified in our sayings and overcome when we are judged. It says, if any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the Most High giveth. So every brother has an ability that was given to them by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Use that gift to the best of your ability, and guess what? Eventually it would increase, because we are into this truth, into this knowledge, to what? To grow. It says that the Most High in all things may be glorified through Yahushai HaMashiach, because it's not about our glorification. It's about the glorification of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who gave us this knowledge to exalt their words so that they can be glorified, beginning with Yahweh and his son Yahushai, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. So be true, because it's not to our we'll get praise for it to a certain degree, but the real praise goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because the Lord did say he would get his praise and fame in the land where we would put to shame. But the ultimate praise and glory goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why we have to stick to what the scriptures say. Making statements, even no matter how prolific the statements may be, is good, but it has to be backed up with the scriptures. And that's the main deal. All right. So with that being said, I put the Elder Apostle Gabar's video in the description box. Brother should watch it. This is a must watch. And then there's a brother, the head of the Alabama camp, that did something on this, like a land back, or a response to this, or his take, through the Spirit on this same topic. I didn't get a chance to watch his video yet. The Lord's will, I will. That'll be something else to watch. The brother makes good videos, so I'm sure that he hit some good points in that. All right, so what we're gonna do, without further ado, so just teach the scriptures. All right, we're going to get into this topic, which was based off of the title came through the Spirit off of this video that the brother Mayaka Allah from LA did. GMS, behold, I come quickly. Says the Edomite white man knows America is doomed. Listen to him, admit it. And the way they got the world, the way they got a stranglehold on the financial system, the way that they destroy and kill people, the way that they sacrifice people, is all a part of what's bringing them down. And check that, 144 views. And this is all what's gonna bring them down ultimately, Because remember, when the Canaanites were in the land of Canaan, you know, the Lord promised Abraham that his seed would get that land, but they couldn't get that land until the Canaanites had fulfilled, you know, their wickedness, till they had transgressed so much that the Lord said, okay, that's enough, you're out of here. You know, so and check it out, GMS encouragement 144. Wow. 144 all over the place. You know, so pretty much the Lord waited until those Canaanites committed such grave sins, and to the point where the Most High got so fed up that he got rid of them out of that land. Just like he waited till Sodom and Gomorrah and those neighboring cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, Zeboim, Admah, and Zoar, got so frustrated, he got so wicked, should I say, that the Lord finally got rid of them and destroyed them. Same thing with all these different empires. The Lord allows them to go for a certain point, and then once they become so wicked, he takes them out of the way, because eventually what the Lord is going to establish is his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven, which is given in the hands of Yahushua, who is the leader of everything and everybody on the planet, you know, underneath the Most High, and we being joint heirs with him. All right. So now what we're gonna do is, you brothers can watch this. This video is in the description box. Very good video. I'm up to about 46 minutes. I still got about a good 3 minutes to go. You know, and the brother goes into the information. He lets them speak. He makes his commentary. He hits scriptures. He reads scriptures off of the comment board, and that's how you're supposed to do it. All right. Now let's go into this work, because this guy Jeff Rentz mentioned the death cult. I believe it was Jeff Rentz, either Jeff Rentz or the guy, what's his name? Something. Oh, right here. Stefan Verstappen, if I'm saying his name correctly, which I know I'm not. All right. So they mentioned the word death cult, and I looked up the word death cult, and the word death cult is a fringe religious group that glorifies or is obsessed with death, and that's what an apocalyptic death cult, and that's what the Illuminati is all about. They go under different names, different denominations, you know, but ultimately they are a death cult because they are obsessed with death. You know, they sacrifice to their demonic gods, you know, Molech and Satan and all of that, you know, and they do this in the hopes of getting blessings to continue on in their kingdom. But their kingdom is fastly approaching the end. Now let's go real quick to the book of Psalms, the 75th chapter and the 5th verse. It says, lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. You know, matter of fact, I started 4. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked lift not up the horn. Now the horn represents power. So to the wicked, to the fools, don't deal foolishly, which they're going to deal foolishly. And to the wicked, lift not up your horn, lift not up your power. Because you didn't put yourself in a position where you're at. The Lord put you in that position. How do we know that? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the wicked were created for the day of destruction, for the day of wrath. So don't act because these international bankers got that pompous, you know, attitude, like they got the world, you know, and you know, that they did it on their terms, and you know, it's all about them, which to a certain extent it is, because the Lord allowed them that. But don't lift up your horn on high. It says, lift not up your horn on high, or your power on high. Speak not with a stiff neck, because there's no one prouder than Esau. You have other nations that have pride, but the pride of Esau is they're the most arrogant on the planet Earth. All right. It says, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So the Most High is the one that puts people into power. The reason why Esau today has this American empire ruling over the world, which is the revival of the ancient Roman Empire, which is nothing more than Babylon the Great, is because the Most High gave them that power. And he set up over the world the basest of men, the lowest scum on the planet, the vermin of the world. You know, and you see the direction that the earth is heading in. The earth is turning against this devil. The animals are turning against this devil. The people are turning against this devil. Why? Because they are the wicked. And the Most High put them up in that position, and the Most High is going to take them down in due time. Matter of fact, let me go real quick to the book of Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the consensus of the world is the people are mourning, because this is a boring kingdom. You know, I believe Elder Apostle Gabar mentioned that Prince said that. Now, as much money as Prince has, as creative as Prince was, you know, and as many instruments that this man could play, he could do anything, go around the world, you know, be with anything, be with anybody, you know, literally, you know, he had the whole world, but he was still, you know, he said this is a boring place, you know. You know, this place, you know, because you can't go anywhere, because the more famous you are, the more people are trying to come at you to get your money and all that. You know, it's just a whole barrage of BS. So the people are under the consensus of mourning, even though they may have a little money, may have a little fun here and there, you know, but the consensus of the world is that they're mourning. Why? Because the wicked are bearing rule. And who is the wicked? The so-called white men, the Edomites, who are the sons and the daughters of Satan. All right, the spiritual demon Satan, so you could understand. So now that's what Death Code is, a fringe religious group that glorifies or is obsessed with death. Now we're dealing with the finance, and we're dealing with the death cult, these sacrifices that these devils make. So I have this is the Georgia Guidestone. We'll deal with that. Georgia Guidestones, right? It says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And as of right now, there are over 7 billion people on the planet Earth. So they want to kill over 6.5 billion people to so-called maintain humanity under that number, 500 million, in perpetual balance with nature. So who gave them the authority to say who lives and who dies? What gave them the authority to decide that in order to keep nature balanced, that they have to kill off that many people? You see? And the thing about it is, if the people were taught how to plant, you know, how to become farmers, how to become self-sufficient, you wouldn't have to have all these different corporations out here that are exhausting the resources of the world in order to be able to keep up with feeding these people, because these people should be able to feed themselves. What you say, give somebody a fish and feed them for a day, or teach them how to fish, or feed them for a lifetime, or something along those lines. So pretty much everyone should be able to have within their community, so to speak, the ability to plant and grow crops and cattle and all that, in order to be able to sustain themselves, you know. But what does this devil do? He's so greedy. He makes everybody be dependent upon him, and he actually is what's the word I'm looking for? Depleting the natural resources of the earth just for his greed, as it tells you in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter and the 5th verse. You know, that they're greedy, that they can never have enough. It says, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. See, so they're saying guide reproduction wisely, and that's where you get these vaccines. That's where you get these Planned Parenthood and all of that. You know, and there's 10 of them, 10 of these so-called rules or guidelines for them, because they're trying to be like the Most High on the planet Earth. As it tells you, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which they did when they put up these satellites, when they put up these space stations and different situations like that. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, which they are. The mount of the congregation is who? The Israelites, and the sides of the north, and that's what? North America. You know, you have a great bulk of Israelites here in America, which is the sides of the north. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, which they have. No other nation has achieved this feat here. The ancient Babylonians then go up into the clouds. Esau's the one that went up into the clouds, the modern day Babylonians, the modern day or the Babylon the Great. And how did they do this? Through their planes, helicopters, so on and so forth, space shuttles, and everything that goes into the atmosphere, which the scriptures called heaven. It says, I will be like the Most High, and that's what they're trying to establish. They're trying to be like the Most High. This is why they have their 10 so-called, their 10 wicked commandments, mimicking the Most High's 10 commandments. Notice it wasn't 11 or 12, or it wasn't 9 or 8. It was 10 exactly, because they're trying to be like the Most High. They're trying to establish their power and their throne on the planet forever. And this is why they want everybody microchipped, because the microchip is the final solution to be able to make perpetual slaves of the whole world. And this is why it's very important not to take that microchip, not to take the mark of the beast. That's why it's so very important that if you're a teacher, if you're a prophet, apostle, whatever the Lord gave you to teach, the ability to teach, you're supposed to warn Israel against taking this microchip, this mark of the beast, which they're not doing. They're not doing this. These are other leaders. Instead they're mocking. It's June. Ain't no microchip. It's June. You know? Which your brother, the brother I believe it was Elder Kazak, just did a video which I didn't get a chance to see yet. I saw the thumbnail where it says it's June and the chip is almost here or something like that. You know? So moving on, let's go here. This is called the global elite, the globalists, secret meetings to shape the world. So I'm going to read a couple of these paragraphs here and hit some precepts, and Lord's will, we can put it all together in the spirit, and be edifying for brothers, because this is who the wicked are. I mean, Esau in general, and tells you in the scriptures, Esau in the book of Malachi 1 and 4, that Esau are the borders of wickedness. So wherever the Edomites are, no matter if they're rich or poor, they are the wicked. Okay? But you have the top elite, which are governing the world, like this devil here, which he's dead now, David Rockefeller. They have secret meetings, as it tells you. As a matter of fact, let's pull that up. I'm going to leave now. Let's pull that up real quick. As a matter of fact, bring it back here. Psalms 64. And this is why King David in the spirit mentioned this, because he saw it in the spirit. Because remember, King David was not just a king, not just a man of the Lord, but he also was a prophet. So he saw a long time ago this mechanism, so to speak, that these devils were doing on the ground. And he knew they were Edomites. It says Psalm 64 and 2. It says, matter of fact, I started 1. Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy, because he saw what these devils intend to do. And our sentiment is the same thing. We pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to protect us from these things that are coming. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Why? Because they have secret counsels. They have these secret meetings. And that was what kept that gave their plans or their agenda so much strength, was the act of secrecy. But now with the internet in place, the secret, or the cat is let out the bag, so to speak. All right. So this says secret meetings to shape the world. And this is why you have, Bilderbergs that have their meetings every so often. Then you have every year, this last 2 weeks, I believe, is of July, they meet in the Bohemian Grove, in Sonoma County, California. And these meetings, what they do is they shape policies for the world. You know, the next rulers and the next thing, or the next on the list of the agenda. Okay, so it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, because they plan on bringing an insurrection. And the main insurrection is going to be against the people of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Israelites. You know, and especially now where this truth is out so far now that Salak, little tongue tied, that they are going to be fighting tooth and nail and quickly to try to stop, you know, this truth from spreading anymore, because they're scared. All right, I was reading the scripture in the book of Mark, right, that the Pharisees and them, the wicked ones, they wanted to destroy Yahushua because they feared him, because they knew that this man had power. They knew he was the Messiah, but they didn't want him to rule. And that's why Yahushua had the parable about the stewards that were sent. You know, the Lord, you know, set up the vineyard. He digged it out, dug the trenches, and lent it out to the servants. And then they entreated the servants badly and killed some and stoned some. And finally, he sent his son, and he said, they will reverence my son. And they said, this is the heir. We got to kill him. You see? So they feared Yahushua. And Yahushua is in us. So they fear us. And they know that. And this is why they're doing what they're doing. They're paying off these different plantation Christians to try to destroy this word, and to try to take away as many souls with them as they possibly can. But it's only going to work on the ones that are not a part of the elect. So by them doing what they're doing, they're thinking that they're making a mark, because they're grabbing a lot of people, and some guys that were in the Israelite thing are going now onto their side, and they're thinking that they're making moves, that they're making strides, that they're winning, but they're not. You're only winning against the ones that the Lord don't want. So you pretty much were set up as a stumbling block for those Israelites that the Most High doesn't want, even among the ones that are woke to find out that they were Israelites. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bow to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And these snares or these traps, they're setting them up privately. But now the internet is undoing those snares or those traps that they set up. And the elect are able to get past them. You know why? Because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is guiding his elect through that maze. Because they set up a maze all throughout America. And this is why you had that devil, Maya Amschel Bauer, which name was changed to Maya Amschel Rothschild, to say, give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws. So going back to this, before I even go there, we mentioned about maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. I just noticed today, when you go to Zero Hedge, this is their logo and this is their mantra. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0. See? And I thought that was very interesting. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see it. Let's see, how can I do this? Okay, there it goes. You can see it now. All right. So this is the Zero Hedge mantra. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0. And I thought that was very profound. You know, that was actually written like that. You know, because of the lesson. You know, the death cult part of this lesson. So now let's get into this. It says the global elite march in 4 essential columns: corporate, academic, political, and organized religion. You best believe that these devils control all facets of religion. Hope I didn't lose that part. All right, so we'll, Lord's will, we'll find it. It says, in general, the goals for globalism are created by corporate, academic, then provides studies and white papers that justify corporate goals, political sells academics' arguments to the public, and if necessary, changes laws to accommodate and facilitate corporate in getting what it wants. And this is why the Most High said that these devils, I may go back to this, but let's go to Isaiah 24. See, because they'll change the rules, they'll bend the rules, change the rules, and do all type of manner of wickedness just so that they can get their agenda passed. Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, and the inhabitants, the human race, so to speak, if you want, or the humans on the planet, they inhabit the earth. But the real defilement is coming from who? From the international bankers. Why? Because the international bankers are the ones that are setting policies, that are setting up the educational system, that are pushing out this agenda through their media, through the different mediums that they have, to propagate their agenda. And what it's doing is defiling the inhabitants, because the inhabitants' minds are the way they are because the ones that are in control, the ones that are in power, are manipulating their minds. Let's go real quick to Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. This is the Lord speaking to the elect. And the glory of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is risen upon thee. So we are blessed because the glory of the Lord has risen upon us. And this is why we're able to shine these lights in this dark ass world. It says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. And that's what's happening right now. Darkness has covered the earth. It says, and gross darkness the people. But why? The reason why is because the ones that are governing are the ones that are setting up these policies and setting up these educational systems and setting up these religious systems. And they are set up to push their agenda, not for the benefit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his people, not for the purpose of really pushing out the true gospel, but for the purpose of pushing out their agenda, which goes contrary, completely contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that was given in power unto them. Let's go real quick to 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. In the 3rd verse, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world, which is who? Esau, because they are the sons and daughters of Satan. And this world is wicked. So it says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. So how did they blind the minds of them which believe not? Because they have control of everything, every facet of society. And one of the main ones is the biggest opiate, the biggest drug on the planet, which is what? Religion. And that's how they've been able to manipulate the world. And for those that don't believe in religion, they got the education system. And they got other programs and other agendas and other things that they do to be able to control and manipulate the minds of those people. So it says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach Yahushai, who is the image of the Most High, Yahweh, should shine unto them. Because if it did shine unto them, what would happen? They would be changed. And this is dealing with Israelites. But the God of this world, which is Esau, under the power of Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, hath blinded the minds of the Israelites. And they've also blinded the minds of the world. And this is why we're reading Isaiah 60 and 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, meaning that this world is in total, complete darkness. So pretty much you can see that people can walk. They don't bump into stuff. They're not putting their hands out groping for stuff, like the blind do. But spiritually, they are. And they've been taught and encouraged to do whatever the hell they want to do. And this is why the world is in such a transgression state. You see? So it's these devils that's doing that. So this is what you have to put into mind or parallel now is how all these different empires or all these different nations that were set up that were doing wickedness, once that wickedness reached a certain point and it started to spill over, that's when the Lord came and judged them. And this is the point that we're at right now, where America or Esau's empire, not just America, but the world, Esau's world, has tipped the balance of wickedness, you know? And now the Lord is about to bring destruction upon them. This is why you read scriptures like in Revelation, the 18th chapter. It says, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and the Lord has risen upon us, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And they fear. They're fearing us because they fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It doesn't say that in vain in the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter and 11th verse, where it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So these devils are in fear of what we're teaching. This is why they're trying everything in their power to try to destroy and distort this word and pay people off, you know, to try to destroy this word. And eventually they're going to get physical. They're going to get physical. And that's a good, man, brothers are putting some badass precepts, man. But Salaki, I'm just going to go to this one that this brother put up, Reuben Yashashkar. Job 18:18, he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. And right now he's being verbally chased out of the world through the mouth of the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But eventually, once the word goes out enough, then the Lord is going to push him out physically. And that's what the missiles are for, and that's what those chariots with the laser beams are for. The chariots serve two purposes: the destruction of Esau and the salvation of the nation of Israel, of the elect. All right. So now let's go back to this here. So it says, organized religion, along with church and state, secures corporate, academic, and political rule into a global order. So it's all financial, religious, academic, which is your education system, political, which are your different politicians and the different laws that they pass. So all of these work together in conjunction to bring about this demonic new world order. And it says this is the trinity of globalist control: City of London Corporation, financial power center established in 1067, which they have an obelisk there, which goes back to ancient Egypt, which is the phallic symbol, which is a penis, which is what they worship. This is where they get their power from, because they don't worship the Most High. They worship the act of sex with the penis and the vagina, which brings forth life. They're fascinated by that shit. They worship that shit because it's a part of their cult. It's a part of their belief. It's a part of their religion. It's a part of their priesthood. It says District of Columbia, Military Power Center, established in 1871. Vatican City, Religious Power Center, sovereign in 1929. All three are separate states, completely independent of their respective countries. But these are the ones that are going through the earth and creating all of this stuff under the guide of the international bankers. It says key players of the one world order in order of importance. You got Lord Jacob de Rothschild, his son Nathaniel, Baron David de Rothschild, Sir Elin or Evelyn de Rothschild, Benjamin de Rothschild, David Rockefeller Jr., Henry Kissinger, George Soros, Lloyd Blankfein. But notice that the Rothschilds are at the top of this food chain, and all these other rich banking families. It says the power behind the Committee of 300 is Anglo-Jewish cousinhood. They're so-called Jews that dominate the financial and political systems of the world. And you'll find out in here, if you remember, Elder Apostle Gabar has mentioned a few times that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are related, and that the Rockefellers are just the Rothschilds of the of America. I mean, I jokingly call them the Rothschilds. It says this cousinhood includes the Rothschilds, cousinhood, Rockefeller. So they are related. Oppenheimer, Goldsmith, Mercader, Montefiore, Sassoon, Warburg, Samuel, Kaduri, Franklin, Worms, Stearns, and Cohen families. It says ruling families. You got the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Oppenheimers, and you got a list of all these ruling families. Carnegie's, Vanderbilt, DuPont, Sinclair, Astor, Onassis, Van Duyn, Guinness, Russell, it goes on and on. Bush, it goes on and on. Getty, Saudi, even the House of Saudis. You got others here. Kellogg. You're thinking Johnson, the Johnson & Johnson products. Koch family. You're thinking you're going to get you some cereal, that you're buying some cereal from some benevolent person. You're buying the cereal from the goddamn devil, man. It says the United States is owned and dominated today by a hierarchy of its 60 richest families. Buttress, I believe, I looked that up. I believe that means, I forget, it slipped my mind now. I did look it up, though. I know once I look it up again, I'm going to remember. Projecting support, right? Support. It's a support. Butchers are supported by no more than 90 families of lesser wealth. These families are living center of the modern industrial oligarchy, which dominates the United States, functioning discreetly under a de jure democratic form of government, behind which a de facto government, absolutist and plutocratic in its lineaments, pretty much is just the absolute power of the rich that are ruling and governing, because plutocratic is the rule of the rich. It says, has gradually taken form since the Civil War. This de facto government is actually the government of the United States. And this is who's really running the so-called United States. And then when you mention these things, they'll say, well, that's just a conspiracy theory. Salaki, brothers, give me 1 second. Yeah, I had something on the stove that I wanted to turn off. All right, so there's another point I want to hit in here, if I could find it, just to show you that these devils run everything. Informal, and this is why what we're teaching is such a threat to these devils, because they can't control it. They've tried to pour money into it. They've tried to set up individuals, to teach against it. They've paid actual people, leaders that were involved in this truth, and they changed certain things, which the Apostle Paul said, let them be accursed, like Comfy and all them different individuals. But still in all, they can't stop it. They thought they had a handle on it when they finally infiltrated for good One West, which the building at One West is totally closed down. They moved to Madison Ave, and they had this big fat lumpy dumpy dude calling himself the Comforter, that changed everything, took away the names of Yahweh, Yahushai, and everything. But still in all, this is why, like I understand now why all those different splits happened back then. And this is all systematically. Remember, there's nothing that happens by accident. The Most High is the ultimate chess player. He is the supreme, the baddest chess player ever. So those things happened back then with the different councils and the us getting kicked out and all of that happening back then, because the Lord knew that this was coming down the pike. So the word had to still have a sanctuary where it couldn't be corrupted. And this is why you see what you see today. See, they didn't plan on that. So this is just a couple of renegades, you know. They're gonna fizzle out eventually. And they even said that Comfy's goons even said that big Dominican, I'm not even gonna call him Simeon, that big Dominican clown, you know, said that by such and such in 2010 or whatever, something like that, you guys are not gonna be on the streets anymore. Mark my words. And what happened? He's gone. He's out there bugged out of his mind. And the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his men are out here pushing hard. Hard. It says informal, invisible, shadowy. This is who's ruling in the background. This is why no matter if you say the right things or even if you say the right things, you have the right things. If you're not within that circle, you're not gonna get any so-called justice. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 32 and 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh the right. So even if you have everything correct, if you're not in the inner circle, or if you don't have enough money to pay for your way, you're gonna fall under the clutches of this devil. You know, and this is why there's going to be a great insurrection against the people of the Lord. So going back, it says, it is the government of money and a dollar democracy. Ferdinand Lundberg. There's something I wanted to get to. Let me just mark here where I'm at. I read it. I had marked it, but you know how you keep marking stuff and you kind of forget. But I know I'm not going to be able to go through all of this, so I'm just going to hit some points and some scriptures. But there was a point in here where these Rothschilds are they actually govern. It might be down here. Is it down here? Just bear with me 1 second, see if I can find it real quick. Because if I could read that, that'll make a point, and then we could also, because I would like, if the Spirit allows, I would like to get into some of them scriptures and, in the scriptures about these different, you know what, let's see if I could do it this way. Let's see. Here we go. It says, the Rothschilds are the wonders of modern banking. We see the descendants of Edom. They're not the descendants of Judah. They claim to be the descendants of Judah, but they're not. After a persecution of 2,000 years, which that has nothing to do with them, peering above kings, rising higher than emperors, and holding a whole continent in the hollow of their hands. And how did they do that? Because the Lord said that He gave the earth into the hands of the wicked, and they did it by deception. It says the Rothschilds govern a Christian world. Did you hear that? The Rothschilds govern a Christian world. They govern this world. Their policies is what's pushed out there. Not a cabinet moves without their advice. So Vocab No Class Malone, Dr. James White the Edomite, Dr. Eric Freemason, Chubb Rock, that's what I call him, Chubb Rock, and all these other clowns that fall under this apologetic or whatever denomination they fall under. They're all controlled by the Rothschild. They're all controlled by this by the international bankers. See? This is why they all have the same curriculum. So now it says they stretch their hand with equal ease from Petersburg to Vienna, from Vienna to Paris, from Paris to London, from London to Washington. Baron Rothschild, the head of the house, is the true king of Edom. It's not Judah. The prince of the captivity, the Messiah, because they're saying that they're the Messiah. And Baron Rothschild is a title that was given. There's 4 of them right now. Well, there was actually this world is at the fourth one. It started back in the 1800s. The newest, latest one is taking control. You know, they claim that that's the line of the Messiah. If you brothers want to look that up, you can look that up. It's not important. It says the head of the house is the true king of Edom, not Judah, the prince of the captivity, the Messiah so long looked for by this extraordinary people. He holds the keys of peace or war, blessing or cursing. And this is why the Rothschilds are the ones that make they control the policies of the world. They are the brokers and counselors of the kings of Europe and of the Republican chiefs of America. What more can they desire? Now's Weekly Register, 1835 to 1836. It says, who controls the issuance of money controls the government. Nathan Meyer Rothschild, and that's one of their main quotes. Now, there's a quote also by their mother. It says right here, if my sons did not want wars, there would be none. Gutli Schnapper, Maya Amschel Rothschild's wife. See? Because they control all of that. But it was given into their hands by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to do that, to push the policies of the Most High. All right? So, see, what do I have here? And, let's go back up to that, because that was a good point, too. We'll hit that, and hopefully we can hit a few points on this. It says, these families hold monopolies over the worldwide banking system, entertainment industry, food industry, oil and gas industry, shipping industry, metals and mining industry. Through this domination of the financial markets, they pull the strings over every government in the world. And this is why you have these clowns that try to say that they're self-sufficient. Man, and either way, one way or the other, you're serving the international bankers. One way or the other. Deuteronomy 28:47, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things, because they control everything. So the Lord set it up systematically that way. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So they have control of everything. And then when you jump down here, this is ownership of the Federal Reserve, which this individual got this from a part of this. I'm not sure if this whole presentation came from Eustace Mullins himself, but Eustace Mullins did the research and he found out that the Federal Reserve is owned by the 100 richest banking families, on the planet. And here it gives you N.M. Rothschild, London, Bank of England, and this is an 8-page documentary. And in this 8-page documentary, let me just see some. I want to go. Okay. This 8-page documentary, it gives you all the different companies that this company here, N.M. Rothschild, is linked to. And when you keep on going through here, it gives you everything. Boom, boom, boom. Warburg, Lehman Brothers, And then what do you have here? Federal Reserve Bank of New York, National City Bank, all these different banks and shareholders and all of that, and the list goes on and on and on. JP Morgan, it goes on and on. On and on. Inside joke. All right. Avery Rockefeller. Here we go. Firestone, Orion, Honeywell, Northwest Airlines, American Express, Hewlett Packard. These different computers that we have are owned by these devils. Exxon Corporation, General Motors, Chrysler Corporation, Squibb, Burlington Industries, Wachovia Corporations. So they own everything, man. So in one way or another, in one way or another, we're subjected to come to this devil for the one of all things. It says the cousinhood believes in a form of Babylonian Talmudic Judaism. The Babylonian Talmud and Shulchan Aruch contain the legal code which is the basis for today's Judaism and Jewish law, which is the fake Jewish or fake Jews. In fact, Talmudic Judaism is primarily a legal system in a literal sense. It has little to do with religion and is more of an ancient political cult group with many followers who are not openly Jewish. This is why so many Jews, so-called Jews, openly claim to be Jewish and atheists at the same time. It says sovereigns and popes both usually had one or more Jews or Edomites as astrologers and advisors. And this ties into the scriptures. Why? Because these devils, they have a priesthood on the left-hand side. Let's go to Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Which virgin daughter of Babylon? Because it's not the actual Babylon, it's the virgin daughter of Babylon, which represents who? America today, which is known as Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, because they're exalted to the heavens now, and they're about to be brought low, as it tells you in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Now we're going to jump down to the 9th verse. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, because they're into witchcraft, they're into these sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So let's look up the word sorceries and let's look up the word enchantments. Kashap, sorcery, witchcraft, incantations. You best believe these devils be setting up these different incantations and prayers against us. Revelation 12:10. And I heard a voice from him say, no, I'm sorry, that's not it. No, yeah. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And you better believe that they have, these different witches and warlocks and sorcerers round the clock, casting spells, putting curses on us and everything. And this is why the spirit of the Lord came so heavy upon Elder Apostle Tahar to tell brothers to do your 3 videos a week and get into, the spirit or the mindset to do a video a day, if possible. Why? Because them devils are relentless in their quest, and we have to be the same way. And this is the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai moving this thing, because at the end of everything, the forces of good and evil are going to come clashing together. And this is why Michael and the archangels, Yahushai with Michael and the archangels and the rest of the angels are going to fight against Esau and his military. With that's their angels, and they're going to lose miserably. It says, so now going back, so that's incantations. So going back, let's look up the word enchantments. Chabar, association, company, band, shared association, society, a magician, charmer, spell. And the word chabar means companion. So they have a companion or a group of people that are magicians, charmers, and cast spells. You have your council of 13. You have your different witches and warlocks and sorcerers and so on and so forth. So the Lord is telling them, look, you're going down. Let me see you now. Let's see if you could put these things off from you. The loss of children and widowhood. Let's see if you can keep your kingdom afloat. Come on with your sorceries and the abundance of thine enchantments. The same way that Moses had to battle Pharaoh and his and the Egyptians back then. Those different sorcerers and magicians back then. Let's go to 2 Timothy 3:8. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses. Now these were 2 of the magi's of Pharaoh. And every time Moses did something, they would stand up and do something. Like Moses threw his staff down and it became a serpent. They threw their staff down and it became a serpent. And Moses' serpent ate their serpents. So on and so forth. But it came to a point where they couldn't withstand anymore. They couldn't do or mimic anymore what Moses did. So it says, now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. And you have men that are doing that. Because you had men that are Israelites that used to be a part of this, that now are no longer a part of this. And now they're on the other side, on the dark side, the Darth Vader side, the forces of evil side. With Vocab Malone and Dr. James White, the Edomite, and all the rest of them are the clowns. All right. So now going from there, Exodus 7, Lord's will go back to Isaiah 47. Exodus 7, and I'm going to go down here to this. Matter of fact, I read the first verse. And the Lord power said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. And he was showing great miracles, right? But then the Pharaoh, verse 11, then Pharaoh also called the wise men and sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did like manner with their enchantments. So every nation that ever ruled, they have their priesthood. There's no different with Esau. Excuse me. Esau has his priesthood. And all of these different priesthoods, they all got their black magic or their black arts or dark arts from different nations before them. And a lot of this stuff that you see going on here in America goes back to ancient Canaan, the ancient Canaanites. They have Egyptian worship here. They have different nations worship here, but mainly Egyptian and Canaanite deities that they worship, such as Molech, which is where you would burn your children to the fire, sacrifices. And this is why they want to bring their New World Order, which consists of these Georgia Guidestones, which is to kill a majority of people on the planet by any means necessary. Vaccines, plagues, viruses, just shooting you in the streets in a lot of different ways. There's gonna be mass death before Yahushua comes back. And when Yahushua comes back, there's gonna be even more death. All right, so now let's go back to Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, because remember, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, but they've trusted in that all the way from their inception, from their youth, from when they were first brought up. Thou hast said, none seeth me, because they think that they're the Most High. They think that the Most High is on their side. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Why? Because they had the instruction book, but they didn't follow the instruction book. They rather follow their wickedness, and it perverted them, because they so-called were established upon basic Christian principles, but those basic Christian principles that they were established upon was nothing more than thinly veiled paganism. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Yeah, because they think that they're the Most High. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And this is why you see the things that are happening right now. But it really this ain't nothing compared to what's about to go down. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know, because the Lord is going to take these devils out on a sudden. It says, stand now. So now when all these things are happening, stand now with thy enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries. So come on. Where's your sorceries and your enchantments at? Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, from the inception of America, from the inception of Esau. Because when you go back to the Greeks and the Romans, they were doing the same exact thing. Different enchantments, different things that they were doing. The oracle at Delphi, and all those different demonic things that they were doing. And here in America, same thing. But they're Freemasonry and all that bullshit. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail, because you're not going to prevail, you're not going to profit. Just like the magicians didn't prosper against Moses because it was the power of the Lord, you devils are not going to prosper because you're going down. And the Lord is going to intervene. It says, Israelite farmer does abortion fall under Moloch worship? Yeah, you could say that because they're sacrificing their children. You could say that. I mean, it's not to the fire, but pretty much you could say that. Verse 13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. See, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, because we read in Psalm 64. Let's go back to that real quick. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So they have those counsels, but they're wearied in the multitude of their counsels. Why? Because their agenda is moving forward, but it's like no matter what they try to implement it all at once, but they can't because the Lord's still blocking them. But there's going to come a point where the Lord is going to just allow them to just do their thing and just get busy and just do what they got to do so that the Lord could do what he got to do. It says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Yeah. Get your monthly prognosticators, your astrologers, your stargazers, your witches, your warlocks, and see if they can save you from what's coming. They're not going to be able to save you from what's coming because the Lord is going to destroy this place. And good riddance, because it's needed. Behold, they shall be a stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, because the Lord is going to destroy this place. Now, the international bankers, they're going to make it through. They're going to be the next governors and the next rulers. I'm sorry, that was Satan. Man slipping with his mouth, but now from his heart. They're going to be brought down because we're going to be the next rulers, in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to be brought down. That was none but Satan, It says, behold, they shall be stubble, the fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. But they themselves, them international bankers, will not be touched by these things. Why? Because they're going to be the first crops of slaves. And that is fitting. The ones that live so deliciously being the first one to taste what paupery is all about, if that's even a word. Pauper, building off the word pauper. Nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. So this whole place is going to go up in flames. They shall wander everyone to his quarter. None shall save thee. Nobody's going to be able to save you. Your military can't save you. Your monthly prognosticators, your sorcerers, your witches, your warlocks, nobody's going to be able to save you. Because this is the judgment of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai coming upon you devils. And you're about to witness your demise, your downfall. Your whole empire is going to go up in flames. You shall perish in flames. Inside joke. But, eventually what's going to happen is you devils are going to go into hardcore slavery. I was going to get two more precepts to finish out. I was going to go into a couple of other things, but I'll just leave it at this. Let's go to James 5:1. Go to now ye rich men, which is who? These international bankers. And they control everything. People talking about, you talking about conspiracy theories. The only reason why you're saying that about a conspiracy theorist is because you're an idiot that's just repeating what you heard on television or on the media or on the internet. You're a controlled clown. All right, you're a controlled clown that's just regurgitating what you heard somebody else say. So it says, go to now, ye rich men, and weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you, because they're going to be miserable. It's not a coincidence that the rich man told Abraham to tell Jacob, the Lazarus, dip his finger in the water and put a drop of water on his tongue to cool off that hell that's going to come upon him. That's how intense it's going to be. It says your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Yeah, you're living good. You have everything. You have the fatness of the world. what you got by your sword, which was a blessing that was given to you, but you didn't get it by right. So it's going to be transferred from you to us. Your gold and silver is cankered. Because why? Because you didn't get it by right. And the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And this is why everything is witnessing against you right now. It started with your finances. It's witnessing against you. It says, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Why? Because your whole dreams and aspirations of your new world order is going to go up in flames once America and the land of Israel are totally destroyed. And the world is finding out that you're nothing more than a bunch of frauds. You're nothing but Edomites. You're nothing but Edomites, nothing but Khazars. And the elder apostle brought out an article where the rabbi called you Edomite. Because you Edomite, but they're Edomites also. And they know that. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. And they've done that. They got their nest egg. They got everything, set up. They got their best wines and their cheeses and their whatever the hell they eat, all set up for them, ready to pop the cork on the champagne, the $1 million bottles of champagne, and celebrate their new world order. But it's not coming, dog. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not coming. It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is who? Which is us. Which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. And the Lord of Sabaoth is the Lord of the armies, which Elder Apostle Gabar did a lesson on the Lord of hosts. Okay, it says you have lived in pleasure on earth. And that's why didn't Abraham say, well, son, you and your lifetime lived good. And Lazarus also had evil things happen to him. But now it's your turn. You're up next, Esau. The Edomites, you're up next. Meaning that you're up for the to be in a low condition, to be slaves. You have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. You have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You've been living fat, man, off the hog. You have condemned and killed the just, and he did not resist you. Why? Because the Lord said, don't resist. And the Lord is going to be the one that's going to justify us. And he's going to be the one that give us vengeance upon this devil. And the last precept we're going to go to is the book of Psalms, the 149th chapter. And this is your future, Esau. So you international bankers, all you got to do is read Psalms 149. Read Isaiah 24, read Isaiah 34, read Isaiah 63, and other such scriptures. And that's your future. Isaiah 149 and 5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Who are the saints? The Israelites. What is the glory? The kingdom of heaven. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Why? Because we're going to be in a position of royalty back again. Because we are royal. We never lost our royalty. We just don't have the status right now. We're just in exile. It says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, which is what? This word. Praising and glorifying the Lord. Because the words, the law, statutes, and commandments will be in our inward parts. We shall be changed. And a two-edged sword in their hand. And a two-edged sword is a killing instrument. And what is it for? To execute vengeance upon the heathen. So we're going to execute you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. When he raises us up in the kingdom, we're going to execute you, to execute vengeance upon the heathen. Why? Because we're not getting vengeance now. We're not getting paid back now. And like they say, vengeance is a dish best served cold. It says, and punishments upon the people. So you're going to be punished for what you've done. You're not going to get away with it. Oh, hold it now. Let's go to Jeremiah 49. And another precept came to mind. Let's go back. Jeremiah 49 and 12. For thus said the Lord power, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And who is that? The Israelites. What's the cup? Slavery. We weren't supposed to drink of that cup because we were set up to be royalty. But we drank it. Surely we drank it. We drank the dregs of it, and we're still drinking the dregs of it now. And art thou he, talking about who? You Edomites, Esau, you Edomites. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Are you going to go unpunished? Here it is. You're the devil that the Bible speaks of. You're the people that the Lord has indignation forever. You're the wicked. But the people of the Lord, which are the holy, the righteous, we went through it, but you're not going to go through it? You're going to go unpunished? Come on, man. You must be out your motherfucking mind. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. And you're going to surely drink of it. You're going to be gulping it every day, huh? Inside joke. Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power and will not at all acquit the wicked. There will be no acquittals here. There will be no clemency. There will be no pardons for you devils. You're going down. You're going down in the bad way, Esau. Ooh, you're going down in the bad way. You're going down hard. So back in Psalms 149:7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, which is who are the kings? They're nobles. They're top elites. They're rich banking families, even though they don't call themselves kings. They're in a kingly position. It says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. What's that? Slavery. That's going to be your new jewelry. Fetters of iron. Chains. Rusty chains at that. It says to execute upon them the judgment written. What's the judgment written? So that the nations, beginning with Esau, will serve captivity, will serve their punishment, vengeance will be exacted upon them for what they did to the Lord's people. And there's all kind of scriptures on that. You know, as thou doest this day unto my chosen. It says dishonor, because this is an honor. Brothers got to know this is an honor, man. It's going to be an honor to actually, when the Lord delivers us, to actually be able to have these devils in slavery, to actually bust their ass, to totally destroy them, annihilate them. It's an honor. This honor have all his saints, which are who? The Israelites. Praise ye the Lord. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? And that's scripture. So with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. Until the next time I say shalom.
And this is from the GMS Vegas sit-downs. For some reason, this devil did not want this to be copied using YouTube downloader, so I'm just going to do it this way. Screencast-O-Matic, since I paid for that upgrade, I'm going to get it. And this is coming from the GMS Vegas sit-downs, giving credit unto them. When will you realize this devil Esau truly hates you? Part 13. And this tribulation we're about to enter into.
Western 220th, moving flag down. Vehicle was just stolen, and they were chasing the suspect vehicle, who was last seen approximately 30 seconds ago, going westbound on 220th, northbound across the DMV. We're out the black Civic.
Yes, that was a black Civic. What's your 20?
998 on in the parking lot of Ralph's on Carson. Before we're with them, get FD rolling. We have one suspect who's armed with a handgun.
So the officers checked the area, they found the vehicle. Fortunately, when they found that vehicle, it was occupied by an individual who had a rifle. He was armed with a rifle. An officer-involved shooting occurred.
And we're checking on him now. We're starting giving commands. We are on the east side of Ralph's with guns facing eastbound.
Side of Ralph, facing south. One suspect is armed with a handgun. Units to assist.
Did he point that rifle at police officers that you're aware of? Or?
So, again, the details of that investigation will come out. That's why we have detectives on scene right now.
Okay, that's all the information you have right now.
That's all the information I have right now.
Okay.
Can you
disclose what kind of rifle the guy has?
Again, I don't have the details of that.
24. If we can get a sergeant with a shelter location, no officers are hurt, and we're still trying to get compliance from the suspect. Sam 85. We are going to wait for the Bearcat based on the status of the weapon observed. The Bearcat is routed. Sam 85 Torrance, can we inquire about any available canines in the area? Engine 91 or Rescue 91, you guys can probably come up a little bit closer to the incident. Stage out on Carson. Sounds like they have one suspect down in a vehicle. They're trying to confirm it. They have the drone out.
Torrance to 9 Sam 85, Gardena K9 en route.
This is Sam 70 to all units. We're going to be deploying the 40 on the passenger side window. All units, 40 is being deployed.
40 is being deployed to the passenger side window.
Sam 70, second deployment.
4-second deployment.
Sam 85 shows 2 40mm deployed in the passenger side window.
From what we're seeing on the drone, it looks like the driver is down. The gun to the head, and the seat appears to be reclined.
Sam 85 to the Bearcat. Whenever you guys are ready, you guys are clear to run in. Everyone's in freeze up.
Sam 80, as far as we can tell, he was very lane below in the car. He's below the door panel that gives you a frame of reference.
If it appears to be laying low, no movement seen at this time.
Sam 85, positive breach on the front passenger window. Sam 85 north. We're working on a team to contact the driver. And if you could have TFT rolling, please. 74, we've extracted the driver. We'll be in ACPR. TFT is clear to roll in.
As the driver starting CPR, TFT is clear to roll in.
Line Chief at 914 North, they're coming in.
Our units are code 4 at Ralph.
74, TFT is now applying aid.
Step 4.
Engine 91, you guys can come on in. I'm not sure if we're going to work. I'm thinking might as well prepare for it. Copy.
There you go. Thank you.
Investigators want to speak with an eyewitness who recorded a deadly police shooting near Houston. I want to warn you, what you're about to watch is disturbing. In this video, recorded last night, you can see an officer trying to arrest a woman in the parking lot of an apartment complex. Police say she had several outstanding warrants. You can hear her voice there. Moments later, the two are seen struggling. The officer fires his taser. Throughout, the woman can be heard screaming that she's pregnant. Police say when the officer tried to handcuff her, she got control of his taser and used it on him. That's when the officer grabbed his gun and fired. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Ed Lavandera, he's been following the latest developments from Dallas. Ed, tell us what you're learning here. Well, this video, Jim, is nearly 40 seconds long. Police have described the release of its video on social media as disrespectful to all involved, but it paints the clearest possible picture we have at this point of what unfolded there just before 11 o'clock last night in Baytown, Texas, which is just outside of Houston. Officers with Baytown Police say that, as you mentioned, this officer had tried to tase this woman, and that the woman had gotten control of the taser, and that's when he stepped back and fired 5 times. In that video, you can hear the woman telling the officer to stop harassing her. You can also hear the sizzling charge of the taser deploying there, but it's also very hard to make out exactly at which point who has control of the taser. The video is dark, but we are told by police officials that there is body camera footage of the altercation, and if you look closely at the video also, you'll see some white flashes, which appears to me to be perhaps the cell phone of the victim, and the screen there kind of flashing a white flash on the screen, so it's not clear whether perhaps she was also recording the incident as well. But the officers in Baytown say that the officer who fired 5 times was struck by the taser.
He wasn't injured to the extent they need to go to the hospital. But like I say, if you've ever been struck with a taser, it's a very painful experience. So there was, I'm sure, a great deal of pain involved there when he was struck with it.
Sometimes you would see her, get into it with people around the apartment, but nothing too, bad. It's just, just typical her. She's not a bad person. She didn't hurt nobody. She'll just walk around, smoke her cigarettes, and walk her dogs.
So residents we've heard from there say that the woman who was shot and killed last night was a well-known fixture in that apartment complex. Investigators say they're still trying to piece together everything that unfolded last night. Jim?
Ed Lavandera, thanks very much for covering this truly disturbing story.
Oh, what did he do? Where's his parents?
I was traumatized for my son having to go through that. His use of force was unnecessary. My son was not a threat. He was not committing a crime. He was not harming anyone.
Cut out the handcuffs. I thought it was locked up. Hurting.
And every case is different.
We have an incident like this and it upsets the community, it upsets us, so we'll take a close look at it and see if we can make some changes.
He don't even know my name and tell him I have a warrant. What did he do? That's what I'm saying. For what? For what? In Louisiana. For what? For what? Yeah. I don't even live in Louisiana, so how would I have a... You don't know my name, so how can you tell me I have a warrant in Louisiana? Sir. Sir, okay, but you know that's all. Sir. pulled up in front of my house and then I don't trust because you shaking like you scared or something.
Okay.
Trust you can't shaking like you scared.
He don't live in Louisiana.
I don't even live in Louisiana. How the hell would I have a warrant in Louisiana?
Quentin, you already said your name was that.
My name is not Quentin. What the f is wrong with you?
Sir, his name is not Quentin.
Quentin.
Then let's see the ID will be done.
Okay, hold on.
It's three different names. You walked up here and told me three different names.
Hold on.
Third name you just know.
Quentin.
No, I'm not gonna be the next you feel.
No. His name is not Quentin.
Quentin.
Let's do this and be done. I got no problem cause I got
You just shot in front of my f***ing house.
Yes, I know who you are.
It's you know what's my name? Man, that. You shaking like you scared. I'm not gonna let you put me in handcuffs.
Please stop. Please stop.
My name is not no f***ing Quentin. You don't even know my name and tell me I got a warrant in Louisiana?
Yes.
So I look like show me the picture. Show me the picture.
Okay, wait.
Walk with me.
No,
walk with me.
No.
Please, he's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere.
I need your supervisor.
I am the supervisor. Come on.
Well, let me see your stripes. Well, I need to know. I need somebody to get the car. No, you're not gonna get me to your car. No,
Sir.
Put my yard on my property. That.
Calm down.
You stop. You stop.
Who are you looking for? His name is not Quentin.
Quentin. You think I'm gonna look because I got dreads or something? No. You just pulled up in front of my house and told me I got a warrant in Louisiana. So what? That's my dog.
That's our dog. That's our dog. Go in the house.
Look,
sir, that's our dog.
Don't you touching me while you shaking. You need to step back and calm down. Now, that.
Get my phone out of the car.
Then you got him running.
Get my phone out.
Calm down.
Here's the deal. Doesn't that look a lot like you?
No, that don't look like
That's
me.
not
What's wrong with you, man? What are you trying to say? Because I got dreads and I'm black, that's me?
No.
That's not him.
She can see that's not me.
Oh my God.
No, what? My name? You ain't got no. You ain't.
No, please stop. Please stop. Please leave him alone, please. No, please, that is not him. Please leave him alone.
Get out of my yard, man.
I need to report on this. I need to report.
No, you need to get the out of my yard. You just said I'm somebody named Quentin. You got dreads and he black.
Come on.
What the is that?
Okay, come on.
Now you want to leave, right?
No, I want to do a report on this.
No, you need to get somebody here that's over you because you just made the biggest mistake.
Why
the you put in front of my yard because I'm black with dreads and tell me I got a warrant?
Okay. No, he's racist. My kids was out here. No,
kids.
Okay.
What, you need to get this over here.
But that he didn't even answer his name.
After spending 31 years in jail for a crime he didn't commit, this man was given $75 to restart his life. Now he's asking for $1 million.
I don't have no life. All my life was took away.
Lawrence McKinney was sentenced to 115 years by a Tennessee jury in 1978 after a victim claimed he was one of the men who attacked and raped her in her bedroom.
I still could not believe it because I thought that it was a dream or something.
In 2008, new DNA evidence that was tested excluded McKinney as a suspect. He was released from prison the following year. According to Tennessee law, McKinney could be eligible for up to $1 million to compensate for his time in jail, but the parole board has already rejected his request to present his case twice. Cassie Bruce was on the board that heard McKinney's first exoneration case.
I have not been convinced he's innocent.
McKinney's lawyer is appealing the case to Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam, who has the final word.
It's not justice for him not to receive compensation for being wrongfully imprisoned. There's been one mistake made where he was sent to prison. I trust that another one is not made that does not allow him exoneration.
A decision on McKinney's case could come at any moment. For now, he just has to wait. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Kelly Nealon.
For staying with WJZ, I'm Rick Ritter.
And I'm Nicole Baker. Video of this incident is making the rounds on social media, and now the department is reviewing it.
Denise joins us now with the latest on the investigation into that officer.
Well, Rick and Nicole, the incident took place, the video was taken while an incident took place involving an officer who was detaining 4 individuals at a McDonald's on New Hampshire Avenue in Silver Spring. You are looking at live streaming Instagram video posted by someone who makes a comment while officers are writing up several suspects.
Just came to write a whole bunch of paperwork.
The person can be heard saying, "You," and a racial slur, "just write up a bunch of paperwork." Then an officer makes a controversial response using the same racial slur. The person recording calls her a racist, and there was immediate outrage on social media. Montgomery County Police released a statement saying, in part, "We sincerely regret the disturbing nature of this video. We understand the pain such language causes the entire community." Later, as part of what they call a commitment to accountability and transparency, they released body cam video of the same incident.
Y'all been trying to something. Do you want to get out of here faster?
Now, the entire incident is still under investigation by the Montgomery County Police Department, but no action has yet been taken.
I love this guy.
Dude, we're gonna rule the country. White power.
White
Fuck
power.
the niggers.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Fuck them
niggers.
all. Fuck them all. That's right.
Before we start Q&A, I got something to say. This is for all the Kim spooks and niggers you're kicking through. You said the fuck out of our locker room. Fucking coming in and stealing shit. We should fucking lynch you. Fuck all of you. It's a privilege to be in our school. You fuckers going around like you own the place. Fuck all of you.
High school students are being called out for pictures online that some people find offensive.
Yeah, the picture is showing students dressed for Spirit Week on what some students called Thug Day. Here's Levi Ismail.
At Memorial High School, the official term is Jersey Day. Has been for years, and on Spirit Week, it's one day of many where the new senior class tries to outdo the old.
People just started putting on, like, I guess, Mardi Gras necklaces, and they were like, oh, maybe I'll just bring these chains that I have at home.
That's how it began. This is most likely how it ends. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was this tweet that raised eyebrows and frustrations over students using Jersey Day to wear fake tattoos, cornrows, and chains.
It just kind of turned more into thugs, which is offensive to a lot of people at school.
Thug Day became the not-so-hidden meaning for years, complete with its own secret flyers. But some students say if there were concerns, they didn't hear them.
I don't think people were like, oh, that's offensive, like whenever they were walking by them.
If you think about it, anybody could be a thug. So, I think if anything, it was more of like a stereotype rather than a racial thing.
One student who doesn't go to Memorial says she saw it on Snapchat and the response was very different.
I saw a lot of people from other schools like reposting this and talking about how this was like completely inappropriate.
Administrators canceled the rest of Spirit Week as a result and sent us a statement saying a shared expectation about the theme was clearly violated. Years ago, they say students ran Spirit Week on their own, but now every theme has to be approved. Students, however, say nothing much has changed, and these pictures show it.
Administrators won't say if there are any disciplinary actions that will be taken against any of those students in the photos. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, we'll take it from here. Thank you, Levi.
A shocking photo from an elementary school in the high desert showing these teachers holding a noose and laughing has parents outraged.
Well, CBS 2's Dave Lopez is live outside Summerwin Elementary School where the teachers work. And Dave, tell us what this is about.
Well, it is a very big firestorm here. It all happened within the last 24 to 48 hours, and there's been some action. The teachers have been suspended along with the principal. I am told that it was supposed to be a photo that was to be shared only within a few circle of friends. It was never supposed to go on social media, but it did, and then came the outcry. The 4 women in this picture have been identified as elementary school teachers at Summerwin School in Palmdale. They are posing while one holds a noose. A second picture shows the noose hanging from a pillar inside the school's offices. And now, the fallout.
You know the meaning behind it, behind our history, and you know you're going to get backlash for it if it gets out, and obviously did.
If you look at the picture, you can see that they're smiling, and even if it's a joke, you just don't play like this. And according to teachers and parents, the woman on the far left in this photo, smiling with the short blonde hair, is Jennifer Garcia. She was the one who testified at the Gabriel Fernandez trial, testifying that as his first grade teacher, she noticed that the boy was being mistreated at home and contacted the authorities. Gabriel is the 8-year-old boy who died after being tortured. His mother pleaded guilty and is now serving a life sentence. Her boyfriend went to trial, was found guilty, and was given the death penalty. We repeatedly tried to reach Ms. Garcia by phone. No answer. And the district refused to identify by name any of the teachers involved. Your teacher's in the picture.
Yes, sir. She's actually holding the noose.
And then he identified her.
I'll give her a name. I mean, eventually she's going to come out. Miss Jones.
Miss Jones.
Yeah.
And when you saw that, had you ever had a problem with Miss Jones?
No. I've heard she actually was a pretty good teacher for 20-some odd years.
Outside the school today, parents, local activists were outraged.
I was infuriated. I was worried that if he's okay and if anything's happening to my son.
It's time to move out of the state. Move out of this area.
We came to district headquarters to get an on-camera comment from anyone, preferably the superintendent, but we were told there would be no statements made on camera to us. We did get confirmation that there is an investigation and that the teachers in the picture and the person who took it, allegedly the school principal, are all now placed on administrative leave. On leave, but with pay, pending a complete investigation.
Appalling, it's frustrating, it's beyond words.
Just a little while ago, a mother and a father came up to me and said that their daughter is in the first grade class of Miss Garcia, and they told me that Miss Garcia actually reported to work today in the classroom. But again, there were many teachers that were here, and when they saw her come into the classroom, knowing about the picture, they demanded that she leave, and she did. And then a short time later came the word from the superintendent's office that she and the other teachers in the picture have been suspended along with the principal. We tried to get any kind of verification from the school office, but no comment. That's all we're getting from them. Reporting live from the city of Palmdale. I'm
This
Dave Logan,
robocall in Metro Atlanta, it's done so many homeowners who received it. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Sharon Reed.
I'm Sean Gables. The offensive call refers to the recent arrest of 21-year-old Hannah Payne. She is accused of fatally shooting an African-American male after she says he left the scene of an accident last week. CBS 46's Adam Murphy began digging into this offensive call. Adam, you've been asking questions, and we know what sparked it, but do we know who's behind it?
Well, it appears a white supremacist group that did not like what happened at this intersection about a week ago has decided to send out these robocalls. This involves a white woman who was charged with the murder of a black man after the woman claimed she witnessed the man leaving the scene of an accident right around this area. Now, the incident came to a head at Riverdale Road and Forest Parkway last week. That's where police say 21-year-old Hannah Payne chased after a man she claims left the scene of an accident and then pinned him in the road. Now, a confrontation ensued. She was armed with a gun. He was then killed. Police have charged Payne with the murder. Now people in the community are receiving offensive robocalls claiming that none of this would have happened if the man she had shot was white.
But in fact, it was the Negro. Negroes aren't Americans. They aren't even fully human. Time to send them all to Africa.
They foment racism. They foment racist attitudes and, more importantly, racist behavior.
Now, coming up next hour, I'll take a deeper dive into this group pushing out these racist robocalls and tell you what they are asking people to do in those messages. That story coming up at 6 o'clock. We're live here in Clayton County. Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
And you can see very much so he does. Remember, he was a murderer from the beginning. So you can see why very much so they stopped you from using YouTube Downloader for this, because of the fact that it exposes Esau for the devil that he is. And When will you realize this devil Esau truly hates you? Part 13. And like everything else, we're just going to see more and more. Call Allah, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Wa Abba Babal.